J-Tabs, the head girl, and we will be having amazing conversation with some of the leading guest line here on this show.
Join us each and every Saturday.
The 19th day of November, today being a Wednesday. How are you doing? Good morning, and thank you for starting off your day right here on Good Morning Kenya. My name is Vivian Degwa, and I am here alongside my colleagues. We have Victor Lo and Regina Manyara, and we will be taking you through this entire show this morning, so you better stay tuned. Do not touch that dial. Before I hand you over to them, let me let you know what I'll be having on Women at the Forefront. This is a segment whereby we get to bring you several women or different women in different fields doing amazing things, and not just for their community but for the country in general, and also just trying to show you that it is possible for the young lady who's watching us this morning. It is possible for you to go for your dreams, as other women have been doing it and are still doing it. And my guest today will be Sharon Musyoka. Sharon Musyoka is a leadership coach. She's a marketing founder and the lead. She's in marketing rather, and then she's the founder, Lead You Global, and a media strategy consultant as well. Our topic of conversation will be leading with purpose. You definitely want to stay tuned for that, as it will be coming to you at around 9 a.m. Victor, good morning.
Good morning, Vivian. Good morning.
What do you have on today?
Asante sana. All is well. I'm doing fantastic. The month is, actually the year is slowly. Tunaanza kunusia.
Coming to a close here.
Regina, what else? Hamri, tusherehe hivi. Kwa umbali tu.
But the question is, I would want to pose, Victor. In the current...
We will do it. I know what you're going to ask.
We shall prevail.
We shall prevail. I know what you're going to ask.
Okay, what I'll to pay before you actually think about the nyama choma, that glass of what you like most, and where to go
glass of
to,
uji.
upepo wa bahari and the likes.
Yeah.
Kindly take care of that particular aspect. If you have school fees, kindly pay for it. Please, if you have uniform lined up for you and books to buy and all those, because they're also going to be transitioning, and that is a fact in life. Whether you party or not, they will require to get back to school. So take care of those responsibilities first before,
what you're
it's a party. But I know, I like the decorations already.
Yeah,
it gives you that sense of...
The mood is already giving.
Yes.
It is.
God has been good, man.
Yeah.
God has truly been good for us to actually be here.
Yeah, getting to this point of the year,
exactly.
It's no mean feat.
But come to think of it, can you remember how COVID just shifted everything? Our celebrations died, get together because of the social distance and all that. So I think people missed. Slowly we are coming back to that. The Christmas trees are now coming back slowly.
I think you speak for yourself, because, my friend, I think I had personally during COVID, other than the worry about contracting the virus and that, but after Africa and also Kenya proved the world statistics wrong. Remember, there was a lot of misinformation and disinformation around the COVID period that people would be falling down like flies. I remember that. And I remember the then Cabinet Secretary in charge of Health, that is now the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Agriculture, that is Mutahi Kagwe, said when he made the first announcement about the first positive case in the country, he said it was not a matter of if, but a matter of when. I've never been, worried as I was at that point. But then after that, I mean, it meant you find ways of how to have fun in a different manner.
Yeah.
We had virtual safaris, we had virtual entertainment in terms of DJs now went onto the social media platforms and were playing for people who are, enjoying the music on social. I mean, we reinvented ourselves.
Yeah, we became creative.
Yes, the party never stops.
Great. Before you take it over, Regina, so today I want us to talk about the regulation. There is a regulation about private security. It was a case that was taken to court for some time. The private security operators also wanted some minimum wage. Remember, they wanted around a cut of 30,000 shillings. Parliament also had that issue, and the national government also, under the Ministry of Interior, in collaboration with the Private Security Regulatory Authority, are now working to create an act that is going to make so many changes in that. One of them is, should there be a provision for private guards or private security operators to have guns? All right, to have guns. That is happening in Uganda, by the way. All right, so I'll be having that discussion with Philip Likokelo, who is the Director General and CEO of the Private Security Regulatory Authority. There is a lot of public participation happening across the country, and they need to get your voice. And I just want to actually understand what is that act and what it really means for us. Regina, you remember and Vivian, of course, remember during the Dusit attack and Westgate Mall, it was said that the private gun owners saved the day before security officers stepped in. You remember that?
Yes. That was the story.
Okay. Regina?
As I take it away, I would want to respond to that, yes. But then the question that I'd want to hear from the person you're going to be having a conversation with in regard to this particular act, do we have the requisite capacity and the discipline within this niche, because it's a niche sector, to ensure that we do not, misuse, the firearm licenses, because it will come with a license. Are they trained to use it? How can we keep track? We already have an increase in insecurity at this point, and it's gun-related insecurities. Looking at what we have already seen in the recent weeks, question is, if we arm these people, do they have the capacity and the discipline to use the firearms? I'm looking forward to that particular conversation. And as my colleague there, Victor, has said, you're welcome to also chime in this conversation that is going to be coming in. So you can get us on X at KBC Channel 1. That's our X handle, at Victor Law, at Roy Manyara, and at Vivian Degwa 2. Now, the by-elections are looming, and it is every trick in the book as various political actors traverse the country ahead of the 7 by-elections slated to commence from the 27th of this month. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki and his predecessor Rigathi Gachagua campaigned in Mbeere North for the better part of Tuesday, campaigning for their respective candidates in what promises to be a showdown of heavyweights. Here's John Jacob Curia with that.
While campaigning for the UDA candidate Leo Muthende, the deputy president tore into the DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua, accusing him of peddling politics of hate, ethnicity and divisions.
Na wengine wale wanatukanana, hatujawahi kuwaona. Siku ile walikuwa kwa viti kubwa kubwa, hawakutembea hapa Mbeere North. Ile siku walikuwa na kirauni, hatukuwaona hapa. Hakuna barabara hata moja walituletea. Hakuna mradi ya maji hata moja watuliletea. Hakuna hata shule moja walijenga. Hakuna kanisa walijenga. Saa hii kwa sababu kuna by election, wanakuja na kimbelembele hapa. Wanakuja na matusi hapa.
He appealed to the Mbeere North residents to make an informed choice by electing Muthende to guarantee continuation of a legacy of immediate former MP Geoffrey Roko, even as he promised the opposition an epic battle in the mini polls.
Tutachagua leo Muthende, tutampeleka bunge, lakini niseme hata baada ya wiki ijayo sisi tutabaki tukiwa majirani, tukiwa ndugu na dada. Si ni kweli?
Leo Muthende achaguliwe, niende bunge, nitetee maendeleo, nisimame na viongozi wengine wanapenda amani. Leo Leo Wamudende wale wengine waende nyumbani wasiende.
On the other side of a constituency, Gachagua and his allies were camping, rallying locals to support DP's Newton Karis.
Karis anatosha hatoshi, ameiva hajaiva, aingie asiingie, ainuliwe asiinuliwe.
The team alleging a scheme to rig the elections.
Huo mpango mko nao wa kuleta maaskari 5 kwa kila kituo cha kupigia kura, ati wamevaa maguo ya raia, na watahadharisha, kama wewe si mtu wa hapa Mbeere North, utaona cha mtakuni.
In Kilifi, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka was in Magarini to campaign for DCP candidate Stanley Kenga. Kalonzo says the mini polls are an acid test for the united opposition and the shaping up of alignments before the 2027 general elections.
DC United Opposition, muungano wa vyama ambavyo vitaunga serikali baada chini ya miaka miwili, tumekuja kuwakabidhi huyu muungwana ili mletee bungeni, na mtaona ambao wengine watamkaribisha bungeni.
Hii ndio mwelekeo ambao uko na sisi leo, na taifa zima la Kenya linaangalia Magarini, na nyinyi wa Magarini, ili muweze kulinda heshima yenu, ni lazima tarehe 27 tutoke kwa wingi na tuweze kupeana mwelekeo wa taifa letu la Kenya kwa kumchagua Stanley Karisa Kenga.
Uchaguzi wenu mdogo, mbunge wenu hajakufa, hakuna mtu amefutwa kazi, ni sababu kulikuwa na wizi hapa Magarini. Kweli si kweli?
Meanwhile, the National Council of Churches in Kenya, NCCK, Nairobi branch, wants the IEBC to come clear on what they allege is a scheme to lock out potential voters in the ongoing voter enlisting exercise by insisting on the scanning of the iris for biometric data.
This contravenes the provisions of the Constitution and the Elections Act, which indicate that scanning the iris is optional. What is the rationale for this requirement?
And come the 27th of this month, we will be on the ready to bring you, our information from the ground as the by-elections get underway. Now, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Chairman, Erastus Ekethon, has warned against electoral violence as he revealed investigations are underway in Mbeere North and Kasipul constituency over claims of electoral-related violence. This comes days after the UDA party filed a police complaint alleging a plot by the opposition to cause chaos during a rally in Mbeere. The IEBC chairman, in an exclusive interview with KBC Channel 1, pledged to ensure a free and fair mini-poll, adding that the commission was ready to oversee the mini-poll. Here is Aidan with a recap of that.
As political campaigns enter the home stretch with less than 10 days left to the November 27th by-elections for 24 electoral wards and constituencies, IEBC chairperson Erastus Ekethon says the commission is ready to conduct the mini-poll.
So for us as IEBC, what I would like to assure Kenyans is that these elections, starting with the by-election, will be done in a free, fair and credible and verifiable manner. So we should be able to account for all the results that we will be transmitting and telling Kenyans.
Speaking to KBC, Ekethon also warned against chaotic campaigns, saying the commission was working with police to investigate claims by UDA party of a plot to cause chaos by a rival political party during their rallies in Mbeere North.
For us to verify, we've requested the DCI to investigate that clip to find out who are these people, what was their motivation, what were their intentions, what were they planning, so that they give us that information.
He further revealed they were probing an incident reported in Kasipul constituency and had already summoned one of the candidates for questioning. Ekethon assured political players and citizens the commission will ensure free and fair by-elections, urging Kenyans to exercise their civic rights peacefully.
Generally, across the 24 electoral election areas, we've had peace, except for the few unfortunate incidences in Kasipul, which we addressed on Friday. So there is a hearing that is going on to determine what are the issues that happened in Kasipul that resulted to violence, loss of lives, and destruction of property.
On the concerns of voter registration apathy, Ethicon says they are engaging in civic education and have set up mobile registration centers for pastoralist communities to ensure voter registration.
Currently, we are registering people at the constituency offices, which is a challenge for pastoralist nomadic communities. So when we launch mass voter registration, we will ensure that we target the nomadic pastoralist communities through mobile registration unit or center.
The November 27th by-election will be held among others Baringo County Senate seat, 6 MP seats in Banissa, Kasipul, Magarini, Malava, Mbeere North and Ugunja constituencies and several county assembly members.
We can continue just echoing the sentiments that you vote your leader, respective leaders, wisely. Now, a man posing as a Kenya Defence Kenya Defence Forces brigadier and issuing fake Ministry of Defence recruitment letters has been detained for 7 days. Milimani Chief Magistrate Lucas Onyia has granted the prosecution's request to continue holding the suspect, Joshua Mutui Muimi, at the Parklands police station as investigations into the alleged scam continue. Our court reporter, Letua Deborah, now takes us through the details.
Joshua Mutui Muimi was arrested on November 17, 2025 at an apartment in Kilimani, Nairobi, where DCI Parklands detective reportedly found him dressed in full Kenya Air Force uniform, complete with a brigadier rank insignia and a name tag reading MJ Muimi. Investigators recovered several suspected fake Ministry of Defence documents, including 6 admission letters, 7 calling letters with identical serial numbers, fingerprint forms, an ID card, a KCC certificate believed to belong to a victim, and other papers. According to the DPP, Muimi is accused of issuing counterfeit recruitment letters, directing victims to report to the recruit training school in Eldoret on the day of his arrest.
I have not received any money from anybody, Honorable Court.
He, however, denied receiving money from anyone and requested bail, arguing that 7 days in custody will affect him as he is on medication.
7 days to me, it will be traumatizing. Because I'm taking medicine. And I'm sleeping on that floor, on that cement. It is traumatizing.
The accused dismissed the seized documents as just papers.
The first papers are only blank papers. They are only blank. You can ascertain to that, Honorable Sir. They are only blank. Nobody has said it is not even stamped on anywhere. There is no name of somebody on that paper.
The prosecution argued that he is a flight risk with no known residence. Chief Magistrate Lucas Onyina ordered Muimi to be detained for 7 days at Parklands police station. Elsewhere, detectives in Nairobi will detain 6 suspected armed robbers until Thursday, when Makadara Law Court Magistrate Court will issue a ruling on a 21-day detention request.
Such, they were found with so many items in connection to housebreaking and burglary, Your Honor. They had a bunch of master keys.
They're basically sensational. It is just pure emotions, for the reason that when you look at this document, anyone can allege anything. But the only thing that will guide this court into granting justice to any party, the only evidence.
According to the prosecution, they need 21 days to detain the suspects, 4 Kenyans, a Tanzanian, an Indian national who were apprehended on Sunday, November 16th, after breaking into a house in Nairobi's South B estate.
I'll give directions on Thursday. All of them will remain in custody until then.
Now that takes us back to a situation. There was a case of a similar nature where someone had posed as a member of the Kenya Police Service. We referred to them then as a police imposter. We can go down memory lane as we follow up on that particular story. Now to matters health, Kenya is on high alert following the detection of the deadly Marburg virus in neighboring Jinka town in South Ethiopia after 9 people tested positive for the viral hemorrhagic fever. Now, the Kenya National Public Health Institute, calling for vigilance, has urged counties to take immediate public health preparedness measures against the often fatal illness. These include enhanced surveillance, case management, preparedness, infection prevention control, lab readiness and risk communication, as well as community engagement. A coordination of a multi-sectoral response also has been called for. Additionally, they have spelled out personal and community health measures, namely, avoid contact with infectious fluids, practice regular hand hygiene, observe safe burial practices, avoid bushmeat and practice safe food handling. The symptoms of the virus include acute onset of fever, vomiting, diarrhea, headache, abdominal pain, measles-like rash, and an unexplained bleeding from any orifice or opening, if you like. Be on the lookout. Alert in regard to the deadly Marburg disease, that virus that has been, detected and confirmed in neighboring Ethiopia. Let's cross over to stories that have been making headlines in the counties, where we are focusing on just this roundup in terms of what has made headlines within the counties, and we will be getting into that in not too long. But before we get into that, how about we have a look at what the business circles have to say, with a keen interest in the financial sector, focusing on Sacco performance, where the current dividend payouts by savings and credit societies are straining the sectors, eroding their financial health. The Director of Cooperative Banking at the Cooperative Bank of Kenya, Vincent Marangu, says there is need to cap dividend payout to increase capital retention and advance more credit to members. The Sacco's capital retention rate stands at an average of 6%, as some societies struggle with capital.
September this year, the Sacco Society Regulatory Authority reported that saving and credit cooperative societies reduced their average dividend rate on share capital to 10.46% in 2024, the first time since 2021. The sector is planning to revise downwards or retain dividend payout at the current rates.
How much assets you can carry. So we are telling our SACCOs, the retention, the retained earnings is not up to the international best practice standards. And the leaders have agreed that they will discuss, they will do more retention, so that we not only build our institutional capital, but also our retained earnings, so that our core capital is not just at the statutory threshold. We will be up, over and above.
Retain a certain percentage consistently from our dividends. If, for example, you are giving 12% dividends, can you engage your members to agree that you can pay 10% and retain 2% to strengthen your Sacco for the future? We are looking at 20, 15, 30 years to come. How are these Saccos going to look like? Are we prepared to meet the future challenges?
The government is also pressing the sector to lower dividends payout in a bid to capitalize the sector and avoid erosion of the capital adequacy ratio. Cooperative Bank of Kenya Director of Banking Division, Vincent Marangu, says capping of dividends payouts will help capitalize the industry, increasing their capital base for onward lending to customers.
When we look at our capital structures in the cooperative sector, we have the regulated SACCOs, almost for the deposit-taking SACCOs, for example, almost 167 out of 172 are meeting their minimum capital requirement. But the threshold of that capital growth and requirement over the statutory requirement is not very high. When you look at the internal capital adequacy threshold or achievement of a number of our regulated SACCOs, we are not up there.
Marangu is urging on SACCOs to consolidate their services to increase their working capital and enjoy economies of scale.
Be very vibrant in future. If the next 5 years we don't know what might happen, if we have challenges and shocks in our economy and you don't have adequate capital, then you'll have challenge. If you don't have adequate capital, there will be a problem in terms of how much deposit you can take in, how much loans you can lend.
The government has also tipped to push for prompt payment of farmers' arrears to reduce non-performing loans in agriculture-based SACCOs.
Now, before we cross over to the sporting arena, is that if you have been worried about the high cost of electricity or even the high cost of fuel, especially because, fuel and electricity, the generation of it are one way or another related. Now, members of Parliament have proposed to raise the electricity bill by adding new charges into the already charges that you have, so that Kenya Power can recover the 29.9 billion used for rural electrification. You can weigh in on this conversation. Get us on X at KBC Channel 1. My X handle is at Ray Manyara. And now to sports. The national soccer team Harambee Stars there suffered their heaviest defeat in their international friendly match after going down 8-0 to Senegal yesterday evening in Turkey. Former Liverpool star Sadio Mane scored a hat-trick as Bayern Munich striker Nicolas Jackson netted a brace, while West Ham United defender Malik Diop and PSG forward Ibrahim Baye and Samsopor striker Sherif Ndai all found the net once for the 8-0 triumph. It was the second loss for Harambee Stars in 4 days after narrowly losing 1-0 to Equatorial Guinea. The win, on the other hand, restored African giants Senegal's pride after they failed to score against Brazil, where they lost 2-0. Kenya's Harambee Stars are playing the high-profile friendly matches as a build-up towards the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations tournament, which Kenya will host alongside Uganda and Tanzania.
Mashindano haya yatakapoandaliwa na taifa la Kenya, vile vile Uganda. Inapigwa penalty, anajaza kwenye wavu. Jaza kwenye wavu hapa, Mkenya anaongezwa goli la 8. Anaongezwa goli la 8.
So much was said about that particular match there. And there are those who are saying hatukupigwa sana. I mean, look at the players who are playing against our Harambee Stars, or it's never that serious. We're still hosting. So much was said. But then, in typical Kenyan fashion, we always try and make fun of even when we are bleeding. But well, as we say, it's a friendly, and we'll still be hosting the Africa Cup of Nations come 2027. Now, we will be taking a short break after this, after which Victor Loy is going to be engaging our guest this morning in regard to an act that, you know, is set to bring in some dynamics if indeed it is implemented in its entirety, and that is a proposal to have some of those who are in the private sector, security private sector, armed. It is being done elsewhere, including in Uganda. But there's questions around this particular proposal, especially when it comes to skill, capacity, and discipline for those in this particular sector. You can weigh in on this conversation that Victor Loy is going to be having in not too long. Now, before I hand it over to him, it's just that we're going to be getting live pictures from State House today, where we're expecting the president to launch the official Taxpayers Day later in the day, and also he's going to be receiving a series of emergency services vehicles at State House. That's some of the developing stories that we are going to be keeping tabs on as far as Wednesday is concerned. Now I leave you in the capable hands of Victor Loy. Have a great one ahead.
When the hills gave way in Marburg, thousands were left with nothing. But together, we can help them rise again. Join KBC in the Restore Hope, Restore Earth campaign, Unity in Adversity. Together for Marquette. Donate through paybill number 522533, account number 8036543, or drop foodstuffs and supplies at Marquette County offices. Every shilling, every tree, every act of kindness counts. KBC. bringing Kenyans together.
The main wing houses our radiology department and wards, and the smaller wing is our cafeteria and the prayer room.
Hey,
this way.
There's even a prayer room here.
Yes, many people here are religious.
Everyone here really likes Chinese doctors. Many people have traveled from far away just to be treated by your Chinese teams.
How much? 5. 5? No.
Wow, wewe ni mrembo sana. Unajua mimi na wewe tutashirikiana vizuri sana.
I just don't understand why you won't tell me anything. I have a right to know the truth.
She assures me that Lucia is still crazy over heels about you.
Stop beating around the bush.
Rodrigo is in serious trouble.
I'm tired of you pressuring me with that. I already told you that if it takes longer than you planned, I'll finish the damn test.
All right, I get the message. You have started a snowball rolling that you cannot stop. Huh? Getting married is the best solution. You cannot force me to do this, okay?
Marcelo Escalante has been flirting with me openly.
Nyumba iko tayari nikupe na niko tayari kukupa. Lakini kwanza usije usiku ukiwa mlevi umepigia watu kelele.
Siwezi nikuambia na kuletea mtu wa wasiwasi na kuletea mtu wa kisawasawa.
Ukiwa umekopeshwa una haki ya kufanya nini?
Ya kulipa.
Na usipolipa
wajenga uadui
au ndani. Na ukikaa ndani ya nyumba kama wewe hulipi kodi utakuwaje? Mwezi wangapi huu kodi sipati na kwa nini silipi?
Kwani mpaka sasa Maarifa hajakulipa? Akanilalamikia malalamiko yake, akasema amekulipa.
Mimi sijapata hata ndururu.
Tu unatuchukua sisi anatukomboa tuje tuhamishe vitu tupeleke nyumba nyingine. Wewe Maarifa nilikupeleka mimi kwa Mzombaso ukachukua nyumba. Mbona leo waama hata mimi kuniambia kama waguri uniambie?
Pesa zangu za kodi yote miezi mitatu pamoja na mwezi huu utoe vyombo vyako uende.
Welcome back. Good morning. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning. It's 19th of November 2025. Let's get into it. Today, let's talk about matter security in the country, because security is the key to anything that we need to do. It's all about us. So I want us to talk about security today. And there is a regulation that is being taken care of by the Private Security Regulatory Authority that is domiciled under the Ministry of Interior and National Government Cabinet Secretary of Ministry of Interior and National Administration. That is quite pivotal in ensuring that this is properly effected. And I want us to take a look at that. I have Philip Likiokello, who is the Director General and CEO Private Security Regulatory Authority. Philip Liki Okello is the Director General and CEO Private Security Regulatory Authority. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Victor.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
But before we get into that, allow me to take you through the front pages of the local dailies very quickly. Number one on this front page of the Standard, slave trade billions. That's what I have on the front page of the Standard, slave trade billions. It says that Kenya's labor migration boom has morphed into a political goldmine. For the country's most vulnerable women, it has become a conveyor belt of abuse, betrayal, and state-enabled exploitation. An investigation reveals how President William Ruto's government, instead of protecting domestic workers brutalized in Saudi Arabia, has aligned itself with a lucrative staffing industry rife with political ownership, conflicts of interest, and gutted worker safeguards, with the First Family's insurance firm at the heart of the business. I
I have that here, and we all remember the lady Dana Chepkemoi, a good friend of mine, who was whose story took to the center stage way back in 2022 when she was in Saudi Arabia. Okay. On the front page of the Daily Nation, Gachagua, Kalonzo in bid to change 2027 poll rules. That is on the front page of the Daily Nation. It has some of the proposals highlighted by the Daily Nation. It's all about the IEBC. One of them is that IEBC must gazette all polling stations at least 6 months before elections to curb ghost stations and ensure transparency. Number 2 is to ensure that they publish and avail the final voters register 3 months before elections to allow scrutiny and prevent irregularities. Number 3, IEBC to be prohibited from retallying or altering presidential results at the National Tallying Center after constituency declarations. Last but not least is to ensure that IEBC must reconcile all ballot used, spoiled and used at polling stations before transmitting results to prevent discrepancies. And finally is that IEBC to design a results transmission system where constituency declarations are final and reconciliation proceeds electronic results submission. So that is what I have here on the front page of the Daily Nation. And finally, what I have on the front page of the Star, Mbadi team to pay 8 billion shillings for COVID vaccines not delivered. That is on the front page of the Star newspaper. Mbadi team, that is Ministry of the Treasury, that is, to pay 8 billion shillings for COVID vaccines not delivered. Consignment was destroyed in a European warehouse. That's according to the Star. Okay. And we still have here United Opposition splits forces in by-election fight with the President. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki also in Mbere, as well as Gachagua and the team. Kindiki, Gachagua lock horns in Mbere North by-election. That is what I have here on the front page of our local dailies. Please go ahead and pick your favorite paper and take a look at them in details. Okay, let's come back to the discussion. So, let's talk about the regulation here. What I have is the Private Security Regulatory Regulation Act, CAP 207. Perhaps you can just take us through what this act is all about.
Thank you, Victor. Good morning, Kenya. Hamjambo na tuamke.
Clearly.
Tuamke. So, my name is Philip Likiokelo, the Director General, CEO of Private Security Regulatory Authority. Private Security Regulatory Authority is a semi-autonomous government agency domiciled in the Ministry of Interior and National Administration. So with that, we find that at the Ministry we have our CS, Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, then the PS is Dr. Raymond Omolo. Then as an agency, we are under them, okay? So today, we want to talk about Private Security Regulation Act, CAP 207, formerly Private Security Regulation Act, number 13 of 2016. So the arrangements of the acts. So the act is there to guide the operations of the private security industry. And that's what we are about here to say, and that's what we're going to delve into. So as an authority, ours is to regulate, to register and license the private security industry so that we operate within laws and order. We also help the national security organs in maintaining law and order, protecting assets of wananchi. So we are there to complement the national security organs. And we are mandated by law. If you read the Act, Section 45, cooperation with the national security organs. That's where we are, and that's what we do.
Okay. This act here, there is a lot of it. You have a hard copy there. Yes. And there is a provision that says that private security, there is a general regulation of 2025. What is it all about that people really need to understand? Because when it comes to regulation of security in the country, then it means that we need to get to the nitty-gritties of it.
So, very well, Victor.
Yeah.
Where we are coming from is that we have an industry, the private security industry, that until 2020, 2019 was not regulated. Okay? So people are doing things their own way. But here there are laws, there is an act, and an act cannot stand on its own. Usually, an act is supported by the regulations. And that's what we are here to do. So draft private security regulations 2025 are largely and wholesomely drawn from the Private Security Regulation Act Cap 207.
Yes.
So we're just giving the Act Cap 207, we're giving it the teeth to bite, okay? And to bring sanity and order. Victor, what I'm not saying, and what I will not say here, is that the industry is not fragmented. I can comfortably say that we have a private security industry that is working. But then we just need to document, put it in law by safe passage of the draft Private Security Regulations 2025.
How effective is it?
Victor, when I walked into this building or to this compound, KBC Channel 1, at the gate, I got our people, the private security officers stationed here. I did not see any person, okay, in uniform, let's say private security, or a policeman or a policewoman. But I found private security, but they are there. But this morning, I found our people, they ushered us in very well. They didn't, I did not tell them who I am, or I just said my name and gave them my documentation, and I walked in safely, and I felt very safe. I felt very safe coming in, walking into the premises. So yes, we are effective, and we are doing a good job insofar as keeping Kenyans safe and our properties secure. I am very happy. I can commend the whole industry. And as a matter of fact, Victor, this industry is where now we communicate amongst ourselves. We know we are in a service industry. We know we are here to do business, but also the most important thing is to keep the country safe and secure. We are doing that, and we are promising and assuring Kenyans that that is our work, and we are doing it without attitude, without being coerced. We are working.
The draft is all about the Private Security General Regulations 2025, but let's talk about the application of regulations and licensing of private security service providers.
Victor, the regulations, the draft Private Security Regulations 2025, we have 4 sets of regulations that are merged into one. First, we have the Private Security General Regulations 2025 that we've elucidated to, which is very okay. Then we also have the Private Security, the procedure for appointment of the board members, Regulations 2025. How do board members, how are they appointed? Okay? When the seats fall vacant, or upon enactment of the regulations, how will we get board members onto the board? Okay? Then we also have private security, use of animals in private security services, Regulations 2025. Here, we categorically set the animals that are recognized or that can be used in matters private security, okay? Here we talk of, let's say, a horse. If you are the owner of, let's say, Secura Security Limited company, which animals can you deploy? Or the dogs. Let's talk of the dogs. How do we care for the dogs? Are they allowed to be used? How do they feed? Okay? Then lastly, we have the Private Security Fidelity Fund Operations Regulations 2025. So, Private Security Fidelity Fund Operations Regulations 2025, these are worded from Section 60 and 61 of the Act, of the Private Security Regulation Act Cap 207. So, we have 4 sets of regulations that need to be passed so that we ensure that the industry runs smoothly. Coming to the Private Security General Regulations 2025, we've talked of application for registration and licensing of private security service providers, okay? Also, the same Act regulation talks of employment and training of personnel. Yes, Victor, company BC, let's say it's Riley Falcon, they have staff, the guys that we see. They have the stewards or the shopkeepers, or, okay, how are they employed and how are they trained? Majorly, with this act or with this regulation, we find that we need to always continuously train our personnel, even as we deploy. Before we deploy, we train. Then, once an officer has been with you for some time, yearly or after 2 years, biannually or after 2 years, we expect you to train these persons. So the regulations talk about that, okay? Then the equipment and tools of trade. At the gate, are we given our officers baton, or what have or are we given them the guns, or what have I given them? So tools and equipment of trade. Then also the regulations, the Private Security General Regulations, we talk about cooperation with the national security organs. At what point are we relaying the information to the national security organs? For example, I'll tell you that we are mandated to cooperate with the national security organs upon commendation by the IG, Inspector General of Police, and or with the CS, Honorable Kipchumba, when they say it is buttons go, please, we need you to do this or we need this information, we will not hesitate to cooperate and to give the information that they need. Then, lastly, that the general regulations, the general provisions of the regulations, and all that are documented in the document.
Let's talk about the registration bit of it, because registration, application and registration, what is the procedure highlighted in the Act itself?
Thank you. Kenyans, and Victor, let me address you because it's a question that is very timely. Registration of a private security company or to be in the industry, it starts at the BRS, Business Registration Services. Like any other company, you go and register there. Okay, only that this is a security company. And then once you're done with the BRS, you bring us the documents, okay, to the authority, private security, for licensing, and then for issuance of the certificate, the license. So, and this takes, I know Kenyans have been wondering why we do not have very many companies. It's very simple, because we're in a security industry. Not every Tom, Dick and Harry can be registered and licensed. Therefore, it is stringent. And also, let me say it today, and also so that we all know it, the registration process is not only done at the Private Security Regulatory Authority and the BRS. It is a multi-agency. There are reports, like the vetting. For example, if you want to run a security company, your vetting will be done by our colleagues at the NIS. It's not us, okay? So we rely on their report to issue a license. So it is multi-agency. The background checks, the vetting. For example, when you come to register, before you take your documents there to our other agencies, let's say for like if you have a, we'll check on, let's say your background, let's say you have the good conduct, PCC, that's given by the police. So we have to rely on the police to get us the good conduct. Then from there, we also take them for further vetting. So it's a complicated process, but yes, there are companies that are doing an amazing job. They have individuals of good reputation that are doing the same job. And here we are. And majorly, Victor, let me also point out that majority of the industry players in the private security industry, I know these are our men and women who are formerly in service. Majorly, we don't have police and all that, and the former DCs, you know. So, majorly, we are a security industry.
Can an individual register as, can register a company, somebody who doesn't have security background or forces background or military background, a civilian?
Yes. Kenya is a democratic country. You can, if you feel, if you know you can help the country be secure, and you feel you're a man of age or woman of age and you can do the job, please register. And there are many of us. And usually, even if a civilian registers the company, majorly you find, if you, even the guards that we have, or the stewards, or former you call them bouncers, these are people maybe who have undergone, after that you can employ people who have undergone training. You can't be a business owner, okay? But you employ those.
Just a minute, even bouncers belong to the private security organizations?
Victor, yes. We call them, you used to call them bouncers, they're called the stewards. We are mandated to regulate and to register the stewards. Yes, they fall under us. For example, now let me add further on our scope and mandate. You see the CCTV, those who install CCTV, those who sell the CCTVs, the cameras, the CCTV and everything, the vendors, all those fall under Private Security Regulatory Authority, under the Act, yes.
So not anybody can just sell CCTV cameras as a business?
I know in River Road, people do it.
They're all over.
They're all over. And yes, they're doing it now, but they fall under us. We need to license them. And that's when we have the regulations properly set and passed, we'll have to rein on them. So we are coming hard at them. But as I told you from the beginning, we don't have the teeth to bite. But with this, we'll give them a window that please come and get regularized, get your house in order, so that we move forward. And the regulations are not punitive in any way, Victor. And let me tell Kenyans, the regulations are just to harmonize how we work, the operations of the industry. We are not there to be punitive. They are not there to, to victimize, no. We just want to have a functioning industry that we are accountable for every step of our action.
Okay. Let's talk about the tools and equipments of trade. You talked about it. So how are you going to implement this once everything is done and sorted out? So how are you going to equip the security providers? Batons? Are you going to give them firearms? What are you going to do? Let's talk about total tools and equipment of trade as well as training. What does this act talk about?
The act majorly talks about training, okay? So we've talked about application for registration. Now we are talking of employment and training of personnel and how to arm them.
Yes.
So based on the level of engagement or assignment, within the doorstep here, we cannot get to a private security officer who is armed with a gun and I don't know, we cannot do that, okay? So based on the level of engagement or assignment, then it determines the level of tools of trade to have at some point. For example, at the gate, because alongside our people, we have the GSC, we have the uniformed officers. So the maximum we can do maybe is to give them a baton and the walkie-talkie and all that. But as the engagement or the assignment gets higher or heavier, then we add onto the tools. It is not bad for a Kenyan or a private security officer to be armed, to have a gun. Like even you and I, they are civilian gun holders.
Yes.
But my people or our people, if the engagement calls for that, for arming, they'll be given. But they must be trained. What we are insisting on is the person trained. Do they have the temperament, the temerity to have such an equipment on them? That can only be done after they have satisfied the government that they are trained, they have the skills to use the equipment. But this is also another conversation that is ongoing in the National Security Committee Council, and the PS, at the appropriate time, PS Interior, Dr. Raymond Omolo, will come and will tell Kenyans on what they have decided on. But yes, it's an ongoing engagement, and we are much aware of where it is, but the PS will talk of it when the time comes.
Okay.
But please don't be worried that, I don't know, in our neighboring countries, Uganda, Tanzania, you've seen the private officers having guns. The dynamics have changed. Kenya is a country on its own. We know where we are, we know where we want to be armed. And the country is very safe. So as we speak, there's no need for me to come here armed, Victor. If you search me, I don't have my gun here, so we don't have to be armed all the time.
That is another question, because when you go to private security in some other jurisdictions, you've mentioned Uganda, Tanzania, they have private security operators with guns, that is. But is Kenya in that space yet? Is there any need or some serious need to have private gun owners in, operators, private security operators to have firearms with them?
As I've just said before, Victor, the dynamics change.
Yes.
Circumstances change. But as we speak, there are ongoing engagements about this. We have done submissions. We have given submissions to the committee, the National Security Council Committee. We've engaged with the ministry as well, through the Secretary Internal Security. And it's an ongoing engagement. For example, Kenyans were saying that, for example, at the shopping malls, they would appreciate if they find the private security officer stationed there, amebeba bunduki. So these are engagements that are ongoing. And I'm promising you, I'm telling dear Kenyans that at appropriate time, the PS himself for Interior, he will come out and tell us on what the steps they have taken. But Kenyans have submitted their memoranda, they have said what they want, and an action is being taken. And we'll have the conversation after the conversation that we're going to have publicly.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about your cooperation with the national security organs. What is the level of cooperation?
This is majorly brought about by Section 45 of the Private Security Regulation Act, Cap 207. And I have said, and I'm continuing to say that, when called upon by the Inspector General of Police or the CS Interior, we are mandated to cooperate with them. So far, insofar as information gathering is involved and the intelligence sharing, we are there, we give the information to the... For example, within here, OCS Central Police Station in case anything happens here, before we do anything, our people will call and inform OCS Central Police Station that this is happening here, here, here. Though you also have other security measures that you have.
Yeah.
Even as we rely majorly on the OCSs. And every police station in Kenya has an OCS. Okay? So we are mandated to cooperate with them. And by the way, Victor, what I know you do not know, that I should tell Kenyans today, do you know a private security officer has the power to arrest?
Okay.
But then, we are limited, through the regulations again, we are limiting their power to confine it within, if something happens here, if
Does that really fall under public arrest?
Private security arrest.
Yes. But this is public arrest that even I, as a civilian, I can arrest someone and hand over to a police station or a police officer.
If somebody is unruly or rowdy, as a private citizen, yes, you can. But confined to what we are discussing today, as a private security officer, we have the power to arrest, but to a certain. We will not use force, okay? We will inform the immediate OCS of what is happening. We will secure the surrounding where the crime has the scene, so that when the national security officers come, they take over the matter. Yeah.
Okay.
And we will not detain any of your document. Utakaa nayo hapo, the exhibit and everything, but within 15 minutes maximum, we shall have had the response from the national security.
What if 15 minutes lapses and there is no response?
We'll wait there, and I will escalate the same issue to the.
Okay, let's talk about the issue to do with the budget, because it's a big body. So how about your budget? How do you draw your budget for operations?
So, Victor, it is true we are a big body. We envision to be a big body. We are mandated by law to be a big body. We should be. Private security regulatory authority should be in every county, the 47 of them, but that is not the case as we speak. So our budget majorly is drawn from the exchequer. But we remember, or we can recall, when His Excellency, Dr. Samoei Ruto assumed office, he said that every government agency that has the capability to raise revenue should do so to win them off the exchequer. And time has come that as an authority, we are providing regulatory services. We are mandated to collect, to raise revenue, and that's where the private security fidelity fund operations drawn from the Act, Section 60 and 61 come in. That we will raise from these services that we offer to the industry, that they should pay a sum. Okay? So for example, if you go to fidelity fund operations, we are saying annually, these companies should pay 1% of their turnover. If you look at the Saccos run by SASRA, Sacco Regulatory Authority, Saccos pay a percentage of their income, of their turnover to SASRA. So it is the same model that Private Security Regulatory Authority will also raise revenue, that 1% of their turnover of the whole year, they surrender to the government. We were thinking, at the discussion of drawing up these regulations, at some point we were thinking of the suggestions for 2.5, the suggestion of 0.75%. There are various suggestions. But I am very happy and confident that as an industry, we sat down with the employers and the employees, the owners of the security company, talk of the Riley, talk of the Senaca, talk of the GP. We sat down through their representative, through the associations. There are nearly 5 associations that we recognize. And those that maybe have not come forward to say they are registered associations. We sat down and we agreed on the 1%, Victor. So this process was very participative. CEO Private Security Regulators did not come up and say, these are the regulations that we have to do it this way. No. We looked for consensus. We called each other. They sat down. 11, there are like 11 representatives from these associations. They sat down in Mombasa. We started from the authorities boardroom in Nairobi, went to Mombasa, and they sat down. And once we had these regulations, we presented them to the board. Through the board chairman, Adiel Nyangi, is a former police commander, county police commander. And then from this, we took the regulations to the PS Interior. Okay? So whatever discussion that we've had on the regulations, it is a result of participative process. Okay, let me shock you or surprise you. When they're coming up with these regulations, I, as the CEO, was not there. Why? I wanted the industry, they know what they want. Okay? Government is just to let them know that your right starts here and ends here. But I'm very happy they came up with a regulation, with a booklet, and they want to be ruled. It's a self-rule that it comes from them.
Okay.
There is nothing of mine, not even my idea, that is contained in these regulations. They did it. It is time they say, for like after 9 years, we want the industry to thrive. We want to govern ourselves. And I said, yeah, let's go ahead and...
So for you are just implementing the voice of the people.
Yes.
Great. Let's take a break. And we come back. Let's also talk about the membership. And of course, your cooperation, with the National Security Council, and even how you are supporting the national government in ensuring that there's security across the country. We are having that discussion with Philip Likio-Kelo, who is the CEO of the association. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Greetings in the name of the Most High, Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest, each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with your music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
Unaijua sauti ya iman ambayo ilisimama thabiti ingawa ilipata shida.
Miaka ilivyopita, Uislamu uliposimama imara, Mtume Muhammad aliamua kumchagua Bilal kuwa muadhini wa kwanza katika Uislamu.
Tumeona watu wakikata tamaa na wengine ambao hawana imani wakaamua wengine mpaka kujitia kitanzi. Kwa wengine mmefanya makosa ambayo umeona yametutoa katika Uislamu. Usikate tamaa na rahma ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Ya Nabi salam alayka, ya Rasul salam alayka.
Welcome back. Okay, so it was indeed a brief coffee break and we are back. So let's come back to the discussion. Let's talk about the membership. What is the level of membership across the country with regards to the private security regulatory authority?
Victor, in the country, first, if I can give you figures, figures don't lie. So as an industry, there are currently around 1,200 security firms registered and licensed by the authority. So in your home, if that person guarding you, that company guarding you, is not in the list of 1,200, then you are committing an offense, okay, chargeable under the laws. However that may be, we have also 1.3 million Kenyans who are directly engaged as private security officers. in the country. Why this big number?
Yeah.
This big number is, if you look at our uniformed officers, the police, they're around 130,000, right? And Kenya, we are around 58 million as we speak. Kenya's around 58 million. So we find that the ratio of the police to wananchi is above what the UN recommends.
Yeah.
One police should cover 450 ordinary citizens, right? So when there's that shortfall, that's where now the private security team comes in to complement the national security organs. Because ideally one policeman or woman should be responsible for 450 Kenyans. That's the truth. That's the UN standard. But that's not met. But also we are very lucky that as we speak today, there is an en masse recruitment of police, of policemen and women.
Yeah.
That's something that's never been done. I think it's 10,000 this year, happening currently. Usually the police employs 5,000. But since 2023, I think this is the first recruitment that we are having under the guidance of IG Kanja. And it's crazy. It's a good number, 10,000 police. And we are also requesting that, and we're also seeing to it that next year we are requesting the government that they set aside some funds that they also employ maybe 10,000 again. So that ratio will come to the standard, the UN standard, but also then there's an opportunity for the private security service industry to also come in and that's why under law under Section 45 we are mandated to cooperate with the national security organs. So there's no cause for alarm. Everything is on order, and we have a very cooperating IG in Douglas Kanja and his team, and the Masengeli, and so we are finding that we make their work easy because we give the information, we share, we gather intelligence, we tell them, and they respond quickly.
Okay, so let's talk about the issue to do with the changes. I mean, what is so unique about this act as it is right now? What have you added in it that is going to make it more firm to guide the authority?
This act, by passing it, we are going to be entrenched in law or by law that as a private security officer, we are mandated to cooperate. As it is now, it's by goodwill. That association of goodwill. But now it's going to be anchored in law that yes, by law, this has happened, you have to report, you have to do this. So we are arming. Equally, for the industry, we are seeing that members are going to come to the board through a process, a legitimate process, okay? That it is documented that this industry or this association held their elections, they chose 2-3 persons, they submitted the names to the cabinet secretary for interior, and then out of the names, the CS did what? Appointed these board members. As it is now, you remember not long ago we had some court cases and we had to sit down as an industry. And I'm leading a very organized industry. That I'm very firm about, and I'm very confident that we sat down and we said, this is what is happening. How do we go on without too much noise? And we came to a consensus, and I can tell you, I cannot authoritatively tell you that the authority does not have any court case, active court case in the courts, any matter. So when we have these regulations, like getting our members to come and represent them in the board, it's going to be it is banned under the law. It is documented, we know the process, okay? So, and also if you talk of animals, right now, there are people, I hear some people even use lions in their homes, and so you cannot use an animal outside the law to protect wananchi or to carry out so if it is, let's say, for example, a poached rat. So these animals are used in demining. Let's say you've done them, or maybe there's a bomb somewhere and you try the camera around it and it goes and sniffs and comes back. So the discussion that we're having, that we are saying, if the poached rat, under Kenyan law, it is true, it is right to you to use.
Okay.
And any other animal that maybe you feel, Victor, I know, let's say if you come from where you come from, and your people say they can use a monkey, to keep people in order. So if it can be passed through this regulation, the law that monkeys can be used for keeping and maintaining law and order in country, we will do it. That's why we are going out there, Victor, to seek opinions of Kenyans on Friday, on the 21st, through the former provinces of the regions, 8 of them, so that we get them to understand the document Though it has come from them, it's good that they rubber stamp it that it has come from them.
I'll come back to that later on when it comes to public participation, which is also enshrined in the Constitution. But let's talk about the issue to do with how you are enhancing security in the country to give support to the national security. And number two, how is your relationship? Do you have a representative in the National Security Council?
Yes, we do have a representation in the National Security Council. That is through the PS Interior, who sits there and who keeps us abreast with the news of the happenings of the country. We give the information, he takes there and he brings them back. And PS, as a gentleman, as a hardworking Kenyan, we can see how hardworking he is, how they love the country, we can see. He gets back to us, he communicates effectively. Where there are shortfalls, he talks about it openly, he calls, he admonishes when it is time to admonish.
Yeah.
You know, insecurity is not about friendship, or things are not easy all the time. So there are those times you get, there was this laxity, why is it? You know, it's about keeping Kenyans safe. And so there are those moments. And there's also the good moments like now. We find that the country is very peaceful and secure. Okay? And it is largely due to the hard work. You see the CS is in Kerio Valley. Doing a bandit and, you know, bring that down. Then even to us where we are, we have the resident association. For example, if you look at the act, we must have in the board, we must have a board member representing the resident associations in the entire country. There are very many associations. So they come and nominate their person. Peace starts from home, Victor. Today, it is good that we also get to learn that peace starts between me and you. Can we coexist in a harmonious manner? That's where peace starts from. When you see your neighbor coming home and maybe has a crude weapon, it's you to tell maybe mzee wa nyumba kumi or the next person, and that's where peace starts from. So in the country we are looking at an entire security infrastructure, starting from yourself, okay, to the resident, to everybody, so that we keep the country secure. But largely I can confirm the country is very peaceful. And by the as we approach the festivities, we are looking forward to the PS calling the multi-agency team like he did last year, so that we sit down, we map our areas, the key thematic areas, the key results areas, key focus areas, so that we deliver a peaceful festivity like last year, than witnessed last year.
Okay.
So that's where we are. It's a multi-agency, security is a multi-agency team. Last year you saw, he roped in even the KDF, that was a representative, that if it escalates to any other matter, you know, we are always ready.
Okay. Let's come back to earlier this year, and I want to take you back to a case which was filed, a petition which was filed by one John Kipkorir on behalf of the Private Security Industry Association, challenging the legal notice number PSRA/005/2023, which set the minimum wage at 30,000 shillings. What would you say about that petition?
It is true. There was a petition in court touching on the 30,000 minimum wage for our private security officers. Victor, at this point, I would say that I'm very happy there are companies who pay 30,000 and even over. Okay? Yes, the security officers are paid more than 30,000. Then, on the flip side, we find that there are companies that do not pay the 30,000.
Yeah.
And that's why when you look at us, we are going, as guided by the National Assembly, we are going at the tier. If there's tier 1 company, tier 2, tier 3. For example, if you are in Nairobi, there must be that minimum wage.
That is zoning?
That's zoning, the tiers, okay? In the village or in our peri-urban areas, they're going to be. So it's a structural conversation that we are having. But Victor, what I have to say, and that's what is true, setting of minimum wage, that is a duty of the Ministry of Labor, okay? Through the Wages Council. But under Section 9, functions of the authority, we find that we are mandated to enforce the minimum wage. Okay?
Okay.
So when Section 9K, when the Ministry of Labor, when they have done their job, which is to set minimum wage, and minimum wage is very easy. On Labor Days, 1st May, we see His Excellency addressing the nation, okay? Stating the minimum wage upon a guidance by the Ministry of Labor. So once the Ministry of Labor have set the minimum wage, the authority, Private Security Regulatory Authority, comes in to enforce the minimum wage. So there's a gazetted minimum wage that comes or emanates from the Ministry of Labor through the Wages Council. And what we are pushing for, and what I've met SecGen Atwoli on the same, is that let us push for a representative from the Private Security Regulatory Authority, be it the CEO or the person they deem fit, to sit on the Wages Council. As it stands, the authority has a board member drawn from the Ministry of Labor, PS, the PS for Labor, just recently appointed a new board member. So, yes, we are represented. We have a representation from Ministry of Labor, but we are saying that it is Ministry of Labor to do their work. Let them gazette the minimum wage, then as we enforce. Yes. So, but it's not the authority, it's not our function to set minimum wage. So that one will be acting out of
where is it right now? Is it enacted? Is it in force or not?
The authority won the case, majorly because the likes of Korea did not show up for the matter and all that. But that is water under the bridge. What I am saying as a CEO, if an engagement pays more than 30,000, please, we are all Kenyans. We are in the same space. Pay our guards well. But also you find those engagements where, for example, you see, we call it undercutting in a layman's language, but accounting terms we call it the lowballing. We are two companies, Victor. We are competing for the same market share. You quote 15 shillings. I say, oh, you've quoted 15 shillings. Let me quote 12. So when bowling happens, like in the industry, you find that these are things that are affecting, we cannot achieve the minimum wage set by the Ministry of Labor. So majorly I attribute this poor payment or not coherent payment to lowballing, undercutting. Unataka hii biashara ya huyu by kusema bei ambayo sio ya halali, iliyo ya chini. So with that, we cannot achieve the minimum wage. But the minimum wage that is set for the private security industry, courtesy of Ministry of Labor.
Great. Let's come back to the issue at hand right now. You are inviting Kenyans for a public participation to submit comments on the draft private security regulations of 2025. It's taking place on the 21st, this Friday. Please take us through that. What are you trying to intend with this public participation?
Thank you, Victor. I'm calling upon all Kenyans, be it you are an industry player, be it you are from the NGO world, or just as a concerned citizen. On Friday, the 21st November, we are going to have conversations around the draft private security regulations 2025. We want to hear your voice. Let your voice be heard. Yes, the document has come from the industry players. But you know, they are users of private security services. Wewe kama mwananchi, come sit down with us in the 8 regions that we've that have been gazetted. Okay,
that is the former 8 provinces.
The former 8 provinces.
Okay.
So once we are seated there, let us have a discussion around this, the regulations. And what I can assure you, these regulations are for us. They are for both users and the practitioners. Ni ya wananchi wote. So come out in large numbers. Let us give authenticity to the document. We are mandated by law to carry out public participation.
Okay.
And that is what we are going to do. We are following the law in as far as ensuring that public participation is carried out in the entire country. So on Friday, we'll go through other 7 regions. Then on Monday, at 10 a.m. at KICC Lenana Hall, I'm also inviting you, the media, members of the 4th Estate. Is that the correct name?
Yes.
Please.
We'll be there. We'll be
Please
there.
come at KICC.
Yes.
We do the Nairobi region. Then you do the validation. And then we do the RIA, Regulatory Impact Assessment, for the regulations.
After the public participation, before I take you, just before that, a quick rundown that the public participation will happen in all the 8 regions, but this one will start the first one, Government Guest House, that's in Garissa town on 21st. And in Machakos, it will happen at Machakos University, and that covers Machakos, Kitui, Makueni, Isiolo.
Victor, there, in Machakos, the Machakos County Hall is, we are being informed that there's an activity going on.
Okay.
So we'll do the Machakos Social Hall.
Machakos Social Hall.
Yes, let the country know that.
Great. Then the entire Mount Kenya region, Kiambu, Kirinyaga, Nyeri, Nyandarua, and Murang'a, this will take place Nyeri Cultural Center. Okay.
Yes.
And also in Mombasa, Tononoka Social Hall.
Yes.
That is Mombasa, covering Mombasa, Kilifi, Kwale, Tana River, Taita Taveta, and Lamu. Let's come to Eldoret. It will happen at Multi-Purpose Social Hall. That covers Uasin Gishu, Elgeyo Marakwet, West Pokot, Nandi, Kericho, Bomet, Nakuru, Narok, Laikipia, Samburu, and Kajiado.
Correct.
So all of them, please gather in Eldoret, Kakamega. It will happen Kakamega Social Hall, and in Kisumu, Le Savannah Hotel. That covers Kisumu, Homa Bay, Siaya, Bigori, Kisii, and Nyamira. And finally, Nairobi, of course, will happen at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, Lenana Hall. And all this will start at 9 a.m.
Yes,
okay.
Except for Nairobi, that will happen at KICC Lenana Hall on Monday, the 24th, at 10 a.m.
Okay, that's on Monday.
And we are looking forward to hosting our PS, Dr. Raymond Omolo, to come and sign us off.
Thank you. Finally, so what are you to intend? After all this public participation is done, are you visiting Parliament? Are you submitting this report to the Minister of Interior, or what are you going to do with it thereafter?
So once we've done our public participation, having done the validation, we take the documents, we take the act, and we hand over to the Ministry of Interior, to the CS and his counterpart PS. So they're the ones to engage Parliament. But because the document comes from the entire industry, I am assured of support that the owners of security companies and even the industry players will move ahead together behind the CS and the PS to the Parliament. Because these are documents that it is timely. Its time has come that it has to be passed. So yes, the ministry will hand over to them a good document that has been validated. Then now we take it over to the Parliament. In Parliament, we have the committee chaired by Honorable Gabriel Tongoyo. That is a committee for security, internal security. Then we have the committee on delegated legislation chaired by Honorable Chepkonga. So it will go through the entire process. So we are following the law with the document, and we look forward to a positive outcome.
Okay. Finally, just to give it that the draft regulations are available for download on the official PSRA website. It's official there. And the public, stakeholders, and interested parties are invited to review and submit their written comments. That is memoranda there's a form there, so you fill that form and you submit it for review then during public participation. Someone is asking, what is the right of a citizen if you're arrested by a private security provider? What is the right? What is my right as a citizen?
Usually, living in traffic when you are on the wrong side of the law, our ladies always say, "Let me call my lawyer."
or the other person.
Or the other person. Or the other person.
Yes.
You can call your lawyer, but actually, us, we don't interfere with the evidence. It's just we hand you over to the national security organs. Nothing else. Us is just to contain you there till the national security organs come. We are not in, because we will not take you to court. It's not our mandate. It's not our jurisdiction. Ours is to secure the place and all the evidences. Then we hand you over.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Asante sana. That's where we wrap it up. That is Philip Likio Kelo, Director General and CEO of the Private Security Regulatory Authority, domiciled under the Ministry of Interior and Internal
Ministry of Interior and National Administration.
Exactly. I beg your pardon for that. Thank you so much for that, and we are looking forward to having you more on the show. Give us more information when it comes, even after the public participation is done. So please go out there and have your voice heard. When it comes to security, it involves all of us. Let's take a break. Good Morning Kenya continues after this. Stay with us.
Get ready to feel the rush of the open road. From 19th till 23rd November, the African Road Cycling Championships come to Kwale County. Watch Africa's fastest cyclists from all over the continent battle it out on Kenya's stunning coast. Be there to cheer the champions or catch every thrilling moment live on TV. Don't miss it. The African Road Cycling Championships from 19th till 23rd November in Kwale County.
She assures me that Lucia is still crazy over heels about you.
Stop beating around the bush.
Rodrigo is in serious trouble.
I'm tired of you pressuring me with that. I already told you that if it takes longer than you planned, I'll finish the damn tests.
All right, I get the message. You have started a snowball rolling that you cannot stop. Huh? Getting married is the best solution. You cannot force me to do this, okay?
Marcelo Escalante has been flirting with me openly.
The main wing houses our radiology department and wards, and the smaller wing is our cafeteria and the prayer room.
Hey,
this way.
There's even a prayer room here.
Yes, many people here are religious.
Everyone here really likes Chinese doctors. Many people have traveled from far away just to be treated by your Chinese teams.
How much? 5. 5? No.
Wow, wewe ni mrembo sana. Unajua mimi na wewe tutashirikiana vizuri sana.
Je, wewe ni mpenda soka? Na je, wajua kuwa KBC mwenzio wako wa dhati michezoni anakujali? Ndio maana KBC Channel 1 hukuletea taarifa na uchanganuzi wa soka.
Kafu ndio wamechukua usukani
humu nchini, barani Afrika na ugaibuni, ikiwemo EPL, Serie A, Bundesliga na ligi zingine. Mashabiki pia hutuzwa kwa kujibu maswali kuhusiana na soka.
Swali letu la leo.
Haya yote ni kwenye kipindi cha Dunda Dunda kwenye KBC Channel 1 kila Ijumaa kuanzia saa 5 asubuhi hadi saa 6:30 mchana.
Nawahimiza Wakenya waendelee ku-watch Dunda Dunda show.
KBC, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations. It's art, it's culture, movies, gossip and trends, sports, drama.
We bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
To keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are such a vibe!
Y254. Imagine.
All right, and we're back. Thank you for staying with us. This is Good Morning Kenya, and right now we get into the Women at the Forefront segment. And as This is a segment where we bring you women who are doing exemplary well in the fields that they are in, and this mainly is to just work on showing the younger generation that everything is possible, specifically for the lady, that other women are doing it, they have been doing it, and nothing is impossible. And right now I am joined by one Sharon Musyoka. Sharon Musyoka is a leadership coach. She is a marketing and media strategy consultant, as well as the founder, Lead You Global. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me
It's
today.
a pleasure to have you on board today. And our topic of conversation with Sharon is on leading with purpose. That is what we will be wholesomely looking at. So, Sharon, let us begin with just getting to understand from you, when we're talking about leading with purpose. When we talk about leading with purpose, just how does that look like for you? What does it really mean to you when we talk about leading with purpose?
Great. Thank you. I'd like to start by unpacking the two terms. Those are two big words, leading and purpose. And so when we are talking about leadership, we are talking about you having been put in a position where you're inspiring, and you're inspiring a group of people. You're leading, you're guiding that group of people towards achieving a certain vision or a goal. Okay? And so as a leader, you're so much judged on results. Yes, you have articulated your vision very well, but do you have the capacity to influence the people that you're leading to achieve that vision? Then secondly, the second word that I would want us to just have a basic understanding, even before we go into how to lead with purpose, is the word purpose. And that is what brings structure to leadership. Because yes, all of us could be leading well. I mean, we could be leading and achieving the results, but at whose expense? And so leading with purpose comes to bring leadership into order, into structure, so that then you're put in a position of leadership. Then you understand that it is more than me just carrying a title, that there are souls that have been given into my responsibility, that the people who've put me into leadership have given me a trust that they believe that I can make their lives better. And so purpose comes to bring structure and responsibility to leadership. So that you just know it's not about the results, but how are these results benefiting the people that we are leading? How are our results of impact, not just to the organizations that we are leading, but the communities that we are working around? How is our leadership influencing the people that are working for us? And the stakeholders are many. And so when you come into leadership, and we are talking about you leading with purpose, it's having all that, the totality of you having to deliver as a leader, but also having people at heart. Purpose. In leading with purpose is about having people at heart. But then I'm sure we'll be going into details about the conversation around purpose, because it's a wide one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So now I would love to just get to understand, was there a defining moment for you that clarified or classified your purpose when it comes to leadership? Was there a defining moment that changed everything?
Yes. You almost don't know when it is happening. Defining moments find you when you're in your space of duty, when you're in that space of fulfilling what you've been called to do. And so for me, it had been a long journey. And I'm not unique. I guess all of us have I've been in that journey of wanting to find purpose, wanting to find meaning in life. We are all looking for something more than just chasing a career. We all want something fulfilling. At what point do you get to that point of rest? You know, of saying that I'm living a life that is fulfilling, not just about the money, it's not just about the titles. And so, yes, I've also walked that journey. And the last 6 years, I was in board leadership. I did 6 years at community level in board leadership. And before then, I had done 10 years in the corporate world, in advertising media, and also have been in 3 organizations holding leadership positions. But deep down, there was still this thing that is missing. There's still this thing that is lacking. And I wouldn't say that it is one grand thing that you've arrived, but purpose introduces you to a level of clarity into so many things, not really just one thing. And for me, what I would say is that when I look back at how I got to that level of seeing that clarity, had to touch with an understanding of who I am at a spirit level, who I am at a soul level, and who I am physically. You know, the totality of my being and how I am contributing that totality of my being into not just my life, but into making this world a better place, into contributing into the well-being of humanity. So you ask, why leadership? There could have been so many other things. So I've said that in that journey of being in leadership, in board leadership, working the corporate level for 10 years, being in other leadership positions, there are things I was learning about leadership. There are things I was observing as a follower. And even when I was leading, there are things that I could see, this is working, this is not working. So there was just a spark around what really leadership can do. In that journey, I saw what you being in leadership and given the responsibility to lead people, how it can destroy the careers of those that you're leading, or how it can build the careers of those that you're leading. In that journey, I've been able to see how you're in leadership, how you can transform a community, how through the small steps and through small actions that we are making every day, how you can transform a nation, you know. And so that just shifted something, that in my contribution to humanity, there's just something about leadership that is so critical that we never get to understand. The sensitivity of leadership, of holding lives. When you're given that trust as a leader, you're holding the lives of people in your hands, ideally. So you destroy. You build these lives, you build. And so that for me has certainly just changed the way I see things, the way I do things, in whatever space I find myself.
So what you're saying is, you know, when you're in a leadership position, when you've been appointed as a leader, when you've taken up that, you know, mantle of being a leader in whatever capacity, it is not just about service delivery. You know, it is not just about your strategies in this project or that other project. What you're saying is you also need to be mindful about the people that you're leading. You need to be mindful about their general being. That's what you're saying. For you, that makes a purpose, or rather makes purpose leadership. Being able to just knowing your employees, minding about, you know, them, you know, trying to make the environment as non-toxic, if there's a word, as non-toxic as possible. But just how easily can that be done? considering you have demands, you have these things to beat, you have that. How possible is that?
That's a very good question, because by the time people are putting you into a leadership position, they have watched you. They have seen that you can actually deliver. And so when people are looking for leaders, we are first looking at your capacity to lead, to influence people to deliver results. At the end of the day, we want the results. But then again, and this is the question you're asking, how do you tie in purpose into you leading people so that then, yes, I am achieving my targets, but not at the expense of other people or the people that I am leading. And so I said that understanding your purpose has so much to do with your spirit, with your soul, and with your body. And they have to work in coordination. And so that when I am only delivering on the results and I am forgetting the people, I am managing. I become a manager.
But not a leader.
But there are areas I am lacking in terms of leadership.
Where do we draw the difference between this one is just a manager, you're a manager, and this one is a leader?
So yes, that's a good question, because then a lot of the times we find ourselves so immersed into tasks and activities, and we confuse that with leadership. When we are put into levels of management, we do so well as managers. And so what I'm saying is that you can be a very good manager. You're very good with tasks, with activities, with results. But when it comes to people, you're on negative. And so why we need leadership into management is because tasks are about people. If you take care of the people, they will take care of the tasks. So then if you're running on the tasks alone and forgetting the people, finally you'll find yourself running alone. The people will stop talking. The people will stop moving. You see, and so leadership is so much about people. The heart, it's like as a leader you must have that heart for people. And you've heard so much about humility and dying to self when it comes to leadership. Why? Because you become a human being. That before me being a CEO, being addressed as a CEO, I'm first addressed as a human being. I feel the pain of other human beings. I know that the people that I am leading, they are people with families. And so that when I am looking at them, I'm just not looking at them as employees. I'm looking at them as fellow human beings with needs, with a desire to grow, with a desire to prosper, to do well in life. And so, because leadership has a lot to do with decisions and strategies and execution, in all that process, in all my planning, I must put people at the center of my strategy. If my strategy is only addressing my results and not the people and the stakeholders around, then it's lacking to some extent. Yes, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and still in line with that, would you say that that is lacking? You know, that those kinds of leaders, those kinds of, you know, purpose-driven leaders, those kinds of leaders who also care about the people who are working for them, because as you said, if you take care of the people, then they take care of the tasks that need to be done. So is that lacking? Just from a general overview.
It is a gap, yes. It is a gap. And the reason for me it's so passionate, I'm passionate about it, is because I see a gap that can be addressed. I'm here today to create that awareness that as we lead, let's lead with more than just the title, but with purpose, to understand that they are human beings that we're leading. And so the reason we have that lacking is because the awareness of who we are is still lacking. I go back to an awareness of who we are as a spirit, when you're leading as a spirit, what is your responsibility as a leader? What is a spirit? Who is a spirit? As a human being who is also a spirit, you know? And that has to track so much back into who is man? What is the origin of man? Where is man coming from? And not to bring religion into it, but essentially, yes, we are created in the image of God. And so the godliness of God in us, in leading, must be exemplified, must be seen. God is about seeing justice. God is about seeing the poor taken care of. He's about seeing equality for all human beings. It's only human beings who have classified each other. Like this one is low status. But when it comes to the spirit, the call for us is to look at each other as human beings who are looking for that. So when I'm taking that leadership position, I'm coming to serve another human being that I am connected to by blood. We all share the same blood. We have, no one has black blood. You know, not even racism could separate who we are as human beings. We are spirits first before we are physical beings. And so that understanding is what is lacking. That is what I would say would lacking. That if we could go deeper into our being, of the corners of who we are as spirits, and getting to realize that we are more than just our physical beings, then we would take care of other human beings better. Because then again, we would move away from accumulating. You'll be gone tomorrow.
Is that true?
You know, that understanding of you're here just for a short time. You're here to serve, and after a while, we will all be gone. Then you're accumulating for who? Would rather be better of all of us than for me to live selfishly, just accumulating for myself. Because we lack that understanding that we are spirits in a body that has a timeline, a body that has a time span to expire. So we misuse that part of our being, and that's why that purpose-driven kind of leadership is lacking. And that's why we are here. We are not giving up. We keep, you know, making that, creating that awareness, and hoping that people can see that there is more to being in leadership, that they are human beings that we are leading.
In just working towards creating that awareness, maybe what's a question you wish every leader would ask themselves?
In that conversation around leading with purpose, is to understand your why as a leader. My why for being in leadership could be different from your why. Because then again, as human beings, we are different. Your fingerprint is different from mine. That means that I'm in a place of leadership for a different purpose than you. And so for every leader in leadership, they must ask the question of why am I in leadership? Why are these so many people following me? Why did people put me into leadership? Why did people think that I was worth to lead them? Why? You don't put yourself in leadership. You don't wake up and declare yourself a leader. There are people behind you who have given you that trust. And so you must sit and ask those hard questions. That why? Why did they put me into leadership? How would I leave a legacy? How would I make their lives better? If today I was not their leader, what would they look back and celebrate about me? And that's why we still have leaders who lived on purpose, and we still talk about them. The likes of, you know, Wangari Maathai. They lived for a cause bigger than themselves. The likes of Nelson Mandela. The likes of, you know, people who sacrificed their lives, Mahatma Gandhi. People who sacrificed their lives for the betterment of humanity, you know, and those are the kinds of conversations we have to have. At corporate level, at community level, wherever you find yourself, put in leadership.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. Now, how do you translate purpose in your day-to-day decision making? Yeah.
So purpose has a lot to do, as I have said, with why. So it's a question of, and I liked when I came here in the morning and you asked me, what would you want to achieve from this? Yeah, because it's a question I already had asked myself. So it's a good example of what you're asking. I have to ask me, why today are you on Channel 1? You know, why are you on Women on there?
At the forefront.
At the forefront. Yeah. Why? There could have been so many other people seated there, but why are you there? You see? And that's why I was saying, for me, it's about where you find yourself every day, being able to address your why. And I said today I'm here to create awareness around purpose and leadership. And what purpose does, it's a total game changer to leadership. This world will be a better place if we only had every person who's put in leadership leading with meaning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you keep purpose alive when business demands, you know, when business just demands, and when business demands rather pull you in different directions?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Because what we tend to do is to separate purpose from what we are doing. If I'm anchored on my purpose, if my business, if I already understood the why for my business, then it's not taking me away from purpose. As I wake up at 4:30 a.m., I know that I am a farmer. I am feeding the nation. So that business is tied to a why. So it's not taking me away from my why. It's amplifying my impact. That when I wake up very early to come for a morning show here, I'm sure you are here by 6 or whatever time or earlier, but it is not taking away, it's not taking you away from your purpose, because you've already identified your why for being here every morning. And so that business is serving your purpose. So it's not taking you away, it's amplifying. Yeah, so it's serving. Whatever we are doing is serving why we are here, because it's more than ourselves. But if I only woke up today here for a salary, then there are times I'll feel like I lost purpose. I forgot about what I'm supposed to be doing for impact. If I'm only coming here to be seen by the bosses that I was working, then I already lost it. But if I'm here on purpose, I'm here that this organization becomes a bigger and a better organization. We are contributing to the economy. We are contributing to the well-being of this nation. If we are making profits, then we are bringing in more people. So my contribution in this organization is way above my salary. So that understanding is what keeps us anchored on what we are doing. That business, there's no business. I'm on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm on purpose every day, yes.
All right. Is there a way that one can be able to measure whether they are truly leading with purpose? Is there a way one can measure?
Of course, yes. And you don't live like to measure it, but it becomes your drive. It becomes your drive. And it is the lives that you're touching every day. It is the things that you should be doing that you leave behind to commit to a cause that is bigger than yourself. And so it's how many lives are you touching? It could just be your salary. You're paying for 5 That's already a metric to measure how you're living purposefully. You're paying school fees of 5 students. You are using your skill from you're training young journalists, or you're inspiring them. You're changing life. It's so tangible that whatever we are doing, you can say, you can confidently say, and you know and you feel it, that I'm touching people in this area, in this other area. It is measurable, yes. Yeah, it is.
It's measurable. You'll
Yes.
just get to know from your day-to-day, you will know that I'm actually leading with purpose.
Yes.
And I'm actually in my purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are 5 businesses that have grown simply because you had good charts, or you mentored those startups into doing well. So as they thrive, you can see, this is my contribution. I'm fulfilling purpose through skill. And I should have mentioned that when it comes to purpose, it's in different levels. It is your skill that you're using for impact. It could be your talent that you're using for impact. It could be your resources that you're using for impact. And so it ties so much into the totality of who we are and how we are using all that for the benefit of other human beings, for the benefit of our families, of communities. So it's not just one thing. Yeah, you could be good at so many other things, and so all those things are for you to create. They're for use, they're for service. Yeah, to serve other human beings, and leadership is one of them. That not everyone finds themselves into positions of leadership, not everyone. And so that is one of the resources and an asset that you have when you're in leadership, that you can use for good, for transformation. But how many times do we let that slip away? And you know, yes, we made the monies, yes, we made the connections and the networks, but how many lives did we change? How many people? Yeah, how many people can we say, I grew this one? She was an intern when she came in. She's now a CEO somewhere. You know, things that you can track back to, you know, what you contributed into.
Yeah. Just from this conversation and from getting to listen to you and how you speak passionately about this, you know, it is confirming and lauding the phrase that leadership is service. When you are appointed as a leader, you are appointed as a servant. That is what I'm getting from this conversation, that you are meant to serve these people as a leader, not just to be there and maybe oversee. Yes, you're overseeing things, but you're also there as a servant as well. What would you say about, you know, that phrase, that servant leadership? When we talk about servant leadership, like what do you make of it?
You actually can't separate, as you're saying, as you rightfully said it, you can't separate purpose from servant leadership. When it comes to serving with, leading with purpose, you can't separate, as you put it rightfully. So when you come into leadership with that understanding already, you're there to serve the needs of the people. Your heart is moved for the people. So yes, there is an aspect of management. And I said that leaders will be judged at the end of the day. When you're in leadership, you will be evaluated on results. But why people are important to this conversation is because now you've become of a different nature, that you understand that tasks are not run by animals, they're run by human beings with needs. And so at the back of your mind, I need results, but I have people who need to deliver on those results. And I need to take care of their needs also. When I take care of their needs, they will take care of the business.
Get it very loudly and clearly. Now I want us to wind up this conversation, and we'll wind it up by you just giving us your final remarks on this topic, that is leading with purpose.
Wow, so I would say that my passion is around just seeing good leadership. I deeply want to see good leadership because I've seen what it can do, what transformation it can make, not just to people but to nations and to the world. And so good leadership starts with self-leadership. So we cannot have a conversation around good leadership without first addressing self-leadership. And self-leadership is about conquering yourself, coming to a place of understanding of who you are, over and above the other things that define you, the titles and all those other things. Conquering those things and getting to understand a very stable and strong awareness of who you are at core. Because then an understanding of who you are is what brings stability to you as a leader. You're not competing with anyone. You're not thrown away emotionally. You're self-led. And so even your teams trust you, and that's part of the influence. So good leadership on its own starts with good self-leadership. And that self-leadership starts with a self-awareness. I am not so-and-so. I am Sharon Musyoka. I am a unique being with certain talents, gifts, and resources at my disposal for this time, for this season, to make a difference in this world. And so that alone, that understanding alone now, when I am put into a leadership position, not just now to lead myself, but to lead other people, that understanding becomes my drive. How do I transform the lives of these people with the resources, the skills, the talents that are at my disposal? Yeah, so that's my call to all the leaders out there. And leading is hard. Leading is hard. You're leading human beings with perceptions, with different needs. But leadership starts when we become just human beings.
Get you on that.
When we feel each other. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much, Sharon, for gracing our Women at the Forefront segment today. Thank you for being our woman at the forefront on the show today. I'm sure that you've been able to inspire one or two young ladies who are watching the show this morning. So thank you very much for your time. This is where we get to end this particular conversation, but Good Morning Kenya gets to continue. Victor Olo is coming right up next, so don't go too far.
Get ready to feel the rush of the open road. From 19th till 23rd November, the African Road Cycling Championships come to Kwale County. Watch Africa's fastest cyclists from all over the continent battle it out on Kenya's stunning coast. Be there to cheer the champions or catch every thrilling moment live on TV. Don't miss it. The African Road Cycling Championships from 19th till 23rd November in Kwale County.
Moja.
Ulikuwa unafanya nini hapo?
Breaking news. Hii utapenda. Ni nini?
Hivi timbi ndo spendi.
Kwani kwa home ni shida?
Hawa watu naogopa hapa, kila mtu ako na shida zake na siri zake.
Inaniuma kuona Josh akiwa na stress hivi. Nitapoteza.
Na ndio maana unafaa kuwa strong.
Nimeachilia familia yangu ikatusiwa.
Utalia tena mama.
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside... Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV. Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music. Extra dose of entertainment. When the thing is nice, we have to do it twice.
A new era has come to KBC Channel 1 TV on your favorite gospel show, The Backyard, with me, DJ Tabs, as we introduce to you our new host, the one and only award-winning gospel artist, pioneer, Mr. Big Deal, Mr. General, the one and only.
Yes, man, I go by the name Hope Kid the General, Mr. Big Deal, new school dancehall pioneer, and I'm humbled to be your amazing host from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. each and every Saturday with DJ Tabs, the head girl, and we'll be having amazing conversation with some of the leading guest line here on this show. Join us each and every Saturday.
Welcome back. It's now time for us to talk about engineering. Many people are asking, can we talk about engineering? Today I'm called Engineer Victor. Yes, you got it right. Welcome to the program. Let's talk about the Engineering Association focus. Everything is about engineering. Somebody said that even God himself was an engineer. The way he designed everything was so beautiful. And so that is the reason why I want us to talk about the engineering conference that is coming up in a few days, and so we need to understand how the engineering fraternity is shaping and mapping the country, called Engineering the Future and the Roadmap of Kenya. I'm talking about Engineer Shama Kiteme, who is the President, Institution of Engineers of Kenya, IEK, and Engineer Maxwell Ngala, Member, Future Leaders Committee, IEK. Today is Men's Affairs. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Today we are three wise men, right? So I'm an engineer. They say that when you interact with 2 millionaires, you're the third millionaire.
Wow.
So if I'm an engineer, just give me honorary. Welcome to the program.
Asante.
Let me start with you, Shama. It has been a very busy year for you. a very busy year. And the IEK itself is one of the busiest body in the country. Please just tell us how your year has been up to this point.
Thank you very much for the question. Let me introduce myself to the viewers. My name is Engineer Shama Kiteme. I'm the president of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya. Now, I'm a practicing engineer in the areas of civil, structural, wastewater engineering, and airport engineering. Now, the year has been quite busy. I am actually realizing that we are now almost in December, but we've been very busy doing a lot of advocacy for engineers, fighting for the welfare of engineers, and also involved in capacity building programs for engineers. We have over 14,000 members in the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, and we focus on really fighting for engineers in the areas I just mentioned of advocacy, fighting for their welfare, but also ensuring that they are continuously relevant in their practice through continuous professional development, training, etc., etc. We have key focus on future leaders. These are young engineers. We are empowering them. And that is why today I'm joined by Engineer Maxwell Ngala, who is a member of the committee. We were supposed to have Engineer Net. But like you already alluded, we are all busy building this country. And so the year has really been packed. We have really registered very good wins as engineers. And we're very grateful for everything so far.
Okay. You talked of future young and future leaders. That's where Engineer Maxwell Ngala is now well-based. But Ngala, when you look at the future of engineers in this country, is it promising?
Thank you very much, and happy to be on the show this morning together with the President himself. My name is Maxwell Ngala, a practicing engineer as well in the area of energy and power systems, and with a deep interest also in academia. I particularly also have great interest in young people, the so-called future leaders, who then we are in an interesting place, I think, where we are today. The median age in the African continent is about 19. So if you consider this and you look at the dividends in terms of the youth population and the prospects that we have in harnessing this for the sake of this country and the continent, then it really is a promising prospect. If you look at engineering itself, engineering has been, as you rightly observed, engineering is as old as the earth itself. Because
I think that is very true.
Yes. It's from the very first time when the very foundations of the world were put in place, that was really engineering unraveling. And so where we are right now, I think it's a good opportunity for us to pass the baton to the younger generation with more agility and giftedness. And I think there's great promise, especially if we look at the population that is available. It's a significant population that is youthful and that is very hungry and agile. And then two, if you look at the practice of engineering, a lot has changed over time in terms of approaches, tech, advances in technology, advances in especially in the digital media and digital space. So a lot of these things then is a fusion of many things and that propel the practice of engineering. I think there's great promise looking forward.
I mean, we've talked about the future, and again, I'm just coming back to you, Ngala, because when you look around, we have got the young engineers who are aspiring to be where you are, and of course the president. But then now there are some, loopholes. And I am so sure that as a body, you have mapped out some of these loopholes. We have got some fake degrees out there. We have got some fake engineers out there. My question is, how effective, and do you have a microscope that you use to magnify and get the best? I mean, just to separate chaff from the real weed and from the real seed and the correct one.
Yeah, I think that's really a very important question, because as we go into the future, then we need to be able to basically safeguard the practice.
Yes.
Be sure that then we are able to guarantee quality to the consumers of engineering, the public, and so on. And which is why I think if you look at the architecture of the practice in this country, it's fairly well regulated. So you have the Engineers Board of Kenya that is responsible for the regulation of the practice and the profession. And then you have, matter of fact, in fact, the feeling is that it's a space that is very highly regulated. I don't want to say it's too much regulated. But then beyond the Engineers Board of Kenya, which then maintains a register, for example, of all the engineers that are qualified and are competent to carry out the works of engineering, including engineering firms. Then now you come to an institution such as the one that the President leads, the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, which then is a meeting of the minds. So you have, it's a learned institution of engineers. It then means that what we do here is we are able to, constantly train, so capacity development, building skills, upskilling young people, and even those who've been in practice long enough. A lawyer does say that a judge is a judge, whether he's an old fogey or is a newbie in the field. So it is a combination of both aspects. So the institution, one way the institution does this is to constantly upskill and build capacity. And then within the learned institution of engineers, then they also safeguards, because one who's practicing engineering would also be a member of the institution. And being a member of the institution, then it means that you have access to a lot of material, to a lot of peer review. At the convention, for example, which I know we'll be speaking about, one of the things then is people make presentations, for example. People present ideas which are bounced off against other persons who've been practicing for a while. And this then helps us to grow the profession in a manner that is organic.
Okay, Mr. President, allow me to use that word now, officially. Am I allowed?
Yeah, it's okay.
Very good. What is the position of Kenya continentally? Because, I mean, this is 2025, and I'm so sure we are progressing very well, and we have got some of the best brains when it comes to engineering and some of these, what we call cardinal professions. Where is the position of Kenya continentally?
All right, so Kenya has a very prominent place continentally, I will say so. I know even when you talk about economically, we have the leading nations, whether it is South Africa, whether Egypt, France, Nigeria, etc. But Kenya is always up close there, if not number 4, number 5, or somewhere there at least. Now, we have very good engineers. We have invested in infrastructure. I have been privileged to move around the continent. I've practiced in Ethiopia, Djibouti, Burundi, and a couple of other African countries. And I can tell you that Africa as a continent is a continent full of potential. And I have also realized that a peasant farmer in Sierra Leone, in Zambia, in Ethiopia, in Rwanda, is typically the same peasant farmer somewhere in Nyamira or in Nyeri. We are one people. Let me tell you, we are a continent of potential. And we must be very excited about some of the protocols like Africa Continental Free Trade Area. We should be able to capitalize on that. And we have human capital as a country to influence development in Africa. We are able to practice anywhere in Africa because we have, gotten to Washington Accord and other, international agreements that makes Kenyan engineers competent, makes them to be able to work anywhere. I've already indicated that I've been able to practice in other countries. And therefore, Kenya stands at a very pivotal point, not only geographically because we are an entry point from Indian Ocean to East and Central Africa, but the fact that we have a huge population of trained engineers, experienced, knowledgeable, capable, we really have some of the best brains. But the other thing we have done we have deliberately made sure that we are friendly to our African colleagues.
Yeah.
We have mutual recognition agreements within East Africa, where we ask Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, we have what you call mutual recognition agreements, so that the qualifications of an engineer in Kenya, they are recognized across Africa. The beauty is, we are also members of Federation of African Engineering Organizations, whereby we also have a platform now to share across our African our friends. And let me tell you, other African countries are actually benchmarking with us, and we are helping them in terms of becoming, getting these mutual recognition agreements. Let me say this because we are going to be discussing about our convention. We already have very many African colleagues who are coming to be with us as international delegates, because we are studying from one another, we are benchmarking, and therefore let me answer by saying continentally, Kenya stands at a very pivotal point, is a very critical player in the continent.
That brings to the next question, that does IEK recognize international degrees, engineering degrees?
The right way to say is, of course, we are a society, professional engineering institution, and then we have the regulator, who is Engineers Board of Kenya. Now, the fact that we're talking about mutual recognition agreements, we are saying that if you are coming from a country where we have signed an MRA, and you have qualifications commensurate to qualifications in this country, then you are recognized. Now, engineering is a very international affair. Because when you are talking about a railway, we will do that railway to international standards. When you're talking about an airport, we'll do that airport to international standards. And therefore,
so there must be a collaboration between foreign and
local.
Engineers.
Matter of fact, we even have international corridors, like African, transport corridors. We're talking about, let's, for example, a railway coming from Beira in Mombasa, in Mozambique, to Lobito in Angola. We're talking about a highway coming from Mombasa to Bangui, or, the highway from Cairo to Cape. So we're talking about infrastructure and everything that has to do with engineering being a very international affair, because we have international standards that you work with. So it is not very difficult, therefore, for a qualified engineer in, say, Cameroon, a qualified engineer in, say, Zambia, to be able to meet qualifications, to be able to do a project in Kenya. And we have so many Kenyan engineers working in Nigeria, working in Zambia, working in Botswana, South Africa. And therefore, that is to tell you, we have enough interactions across the continent to be able to practice cross-border.
Okay. You want to add something on that?
I think very much so. I want to agree fully with the President, because when you look at labor mobility, which I think is really the essence of what we are discussing, it's very important then that you have harmonized standards, and you have harmonized training, or at least qualifications then that that have equivalence. So because of the way globalization is playing out today, then you have engineers who have qualified here in Kenya who will be able to practice anywhere else in the globe. And that is because when you look at the curriculum, you look at the way it is designed and executed, then it is at par with other jurisdictions and so on. So I think it's very important for example, similarly as the President has mentioned, whether it is in energy or in civil works and engineering, then the idea is the same, that now you have systems that are cross-border. Whether it is electricity, you have projects that will be cross-border, and therefore that will require much more than would require the competencies that are local, but would also require that global perspective. And Kenyan engineers, I think where we are today is, if you look at a lot of the works happening within the African continent, that you find Kenyan engineers in their footprints in many of those things.
Do we have international or foreign policies affecting cross-border practice? For example, Kenya, Ethiopia and all that. Do we have that cross-border practice, disparities and all that, Mr. President?
Well, let me tell you that through the various protocols and frameworks that we have, we have a very healthy cross-pollination of ideas across the African continent. Let me say that if you talk about the power infrastructure, for instance, we have East African power pool, for example, West African power pool, for example. The question is, electricity generated in Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, can it be consumed in Kenya or Tanzania? Yes, it can. What do we need? We just need to have transmission infrastructure that evacuates power and takes it from Ethiopia to Tanzania, to Kenya, etc., etc. And therefore, there are those frameworks where we are working across the borders. You've heard about the Northern Corridor and roads, highways, and infrastructure. We're talking about the highways where we are going through Ethiopia, we're going through South Sudan. We're talking about railway, coming from Mombasa, going through Nairobi, all the way to Uganda, and, being able to evacuate cargo from Mombasa port to say Burundi, Uganda, and, Rwanda, etc., etc. So we do have, yes, the understanding regionally. We have frameworks, we have platforms to be able to share ideas across and even share infrastructure. I do know that, like I said, there are those intra-African or inter-African infrastructure, frameworks. We're already talking of a railway coming from Dola in Zambia through DRC to Angola, Lobito. The other day that was commissioned between the various governments. And therefore, there is a very healthy exchange of ideas, like I said, and it is possible to work cross borders so for the common benefit of all citizens of all countries in Africa.
Yeah, we are so much advancing, and the only thing I like about Kenya is that we are moving quite in tandem with the changing time. But the issue of curriculum, educational workforce, is there a mismatch? Yes.
That's a good question. I think it's a good question because, like I said earlier, I have deep interest in academia as well. I think the way I would look at it is that, I think the curriculum that we have had for a long time, what we are seeing is the evolution. I would like to call it the evolution of the education system to be in touch with the evolving times. Because there is a time when people would, the fundamentals of engineering, for example, are the same. And these fundamentals do not change. The principles are the same, and they are, if you allow me, they are cast in stone. However, the way then to apply these principles in a varying context then is changing. For example, the disruption in tech. There's a lot of things that technology has transformed in terms of how we even practice engineering. There's a time when you'd find students spending all their time running around with what we'd call a micrometer screw gauge, running around with T-square and so on, which was foundational in an understanding of the basic concepts of engineering. But now, because we're in the age of computer-aided design, we're in the age of much more advancements beyond this. Then what we are seeing is the evolution of this curriculum then to match the times that we are in. And I'm very happy in this respect because of the close collaboration between the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, the Engineers Board of Kenya, the universities in the country, and collaboration beyond borders with other universities, which then what this has led is the enrichment of our curriculum, the cross-pollination of ideas. And then there is great connection. Myself, my other interest is mentorship, because what we do, for example, as future leaders, is to constantly be plowing back to the universities. You're constantly interrogating how is the content being delivered, and how are the students appreciating this. So when you have the engagement between professionals, very close nexus between academia, industry, and government, which is a custodian of policy, this what is so-called the triple helix. So when you have that great connection between these three, then what you always have is a situation where curriculum is not static, or education, or what is being delivered is not static, but it's dynamic, it evolves with the times, and then it is indexed to what is happening in our world. So this is the thing that I see, and one way that this is one way that I've seen this demonstrated, I think, is a great ecosystem for us here in Kenya. I have had the privilege of engaging in very many campuses, and if you look at today what is being delivered, then I think in many respects it's an attempt then to respond to the times.
I'll come back to that. I want to take a break. Okay, just take a break. But when I come back, we also talk about some inadequate technology integration, because now that when we talk about AI, but we still have to go back to the traditional way of doing things, the way you were taught. But now AI is also taking charge of so many things.
I really wanted to respond to that question. It's very important. The one of education.
We come back after this break. All right, so let's take a break and we come back, and of course we also to be talking about the convention that is coming up and why you need to attend that. Stay with us.
Get ready to feel the rush of the open road. From 19th till 23rd November, the African Road Cycling Championships come to Kwale County. Watch Africa's fastest cyclists from all over the continent battle it out on Kenya's stunning coast. Be there to cheer the champions or catch every thrilling moment live on TV. Don't miss it. The African Road Cycling Championships from 19th till 23rd November in Kwale County.
The main wing houses our radiology department and wards, and the smaller wing is our cafeteria and the prayer room.
Hey,
this way.
There's even a prayer room here.
Yes, many people here are religious.
Everyone here really likes Chinese doctors. Many people have traveled from far away just to be treated by your Chinese teams.
How much? 5. 5? No.
Wow, wewe ni mrembo sana. Unajua mimi na wewe tutashirikiana vizuri sana.
The police come.
What was happening?
That is the thing I'm telling you now.
Continue.
Ile ambayo umeniambia niingie hapo ndani nitoe alafu
Are baba.
Between me and this guy, who come to thief there?
To thief what?
Kuipa mheshimiwa.
Muuze to steal.
Nini yote
ndio hiyo.
Sasa thief ni nini? Thief ni mwizi.
Danganyana na morongo yako. Mimi sikujui.
Mistaken identity.
Mistaken identity. Hakuna mtu anafanana na wewe hii dunia wala.
Come on. Wewe wapi uliona koplo ambaye anatuleti?
Trade wapi?
Trade.
Anasema hii.
Oh,
trade.
Kama wewe. Huyu mama anakierere sana.
Welcome back. Now to the final stretch. Let's talk about more about engineering. So, Mr. President, let's talk about the issue to do with the curriculum mismatch, the education bit that we need to put the intellectual bit of having an engineer well-crafted, tested, and there is something called quality assurance that's good to serve. Take it over.
Yeah, I think that's a very important question about curriculum in engineering education, because I have been privileged to see what is happening across the borders in China, in Russia, in the West. And I must admit that we are at that point where the overhaul of our education system is now necessary. And I'll say so as I appreciate the fact that competence-based education that is being rolled out affords us a very good opportunity to not only reform the primary education, but also, in my view, I'm very convinced, even the tertiary education. And why am I saying so? You are now starting to see a robot in China that is able to do paint work that could be done by 10 painters and do it perfectly well. You're starting to see robots doing measuring, monitoring, going to do deep excavations where it is unsafe for human beings to go and work. You are starting to see virtual reality and artificial intelligence deployed in education, whereby you are training engineers drilling oil fields, and you don't have to take them to the field, but through VR, you are able to simulate the real industry or field experience. Now, we need this now to invade our lecture rooms, classrooms, and our laboratories in this country, because the world is moving and moving very fast. We also need to inculcate elements of sustainability, elements of soft skills, leadership, and that is why there's a very crucial aspect we consider in engineering education called lifelong learning. Lifelong learning becomes very relevant because principally, as Engineer Ngala mentioned, the Newton's laws of motions have never changed. The statics, the dynamics are concepts that will never change. But the instruments for us to address the forces of nature are changing at a very fast speed. And therefore, we must now remain relevant. We must make sure that right from the university, we train our students with relevant skills to plug into the industry and not come out half-baked. Now, the nexus he talked about, the industry, the academy, and practice, it has to be there, so that then we are taking the actual industry like a lab in the university. And therefore, our graduates, when they're coming out to solve real life problems. We need to reach a point whereby when they are doing projects, whether final year projects or whatever projects, they are doing it as if they are practicing. They are solving real life problems. And this has transformed countries like Germany. In Germany, you have these training programs whereby the actual project you are doing as a student, you are doing it in the industry and solving real industry problem. Russia has actually overhauled its engineering education, whereby they have changed even the duration number of years, so that then when we take you through the program, by the time you finish the training, you are actually going to practice. You're not going to start learning because you learn a lot of theory in the university. Now you're going to practice to come out.
That's about technological integration. And then again, we talk about Ngala. I mean, even the academia, because that's where it all begins. We are in a very interesting scenario right now as a country. Devolve units. Are you devolving engineering and even practice and even mentorship and all that, so that you move from classwork now to the practicality bit of it? Is that happening? Perhaps the president can also answer that as well.
I think the president will also be able to speak to this. But I think, Victor, today I think the questions you're asking are very, 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 very nice.
I'm trying.
And but you're succeeding. Because the reason why I think this is important, you know, when you're talking about devolution as one of our core values or our principles of governance, is very, and this trickles down to every other aspect of our being. If you look at engineering, one of the things that has greatly impacted engineering now is something called democratization, basically, which is to further decentralize and you see this philosophy at play even in energy systems. Now you talk about isolated or distributed energy systems that basically speak to the fact that the service is closer and you have greater control and so on. And this is the same thing that I think we are also seeing even in the practice of engineering in the country. You have very many engineers working, for example, within county setups or in the devolved units. And the institution of engineers, even the way it is configured now, has further decentralized. So that then you have these branches and regions, and then they're able to are much closer to where the engineers are. And the idea of the branches, even I think with the benefit of time, is even to see further devolution of the so that then you're not top heavy, but then you, as much as possible, you are able to engage at the local. As I said earlier, engineering is not something esoteric. It's not something something far removed. It is the day-to-day transactions in the lives of individuals. When you walk, then that is a principle of friction that is keeping you walking, and therefore we don't stop around to discuss friction, but it basically flows with life. When you turn on that switch and the lights come on, it is a principle of operation of an entire grid that is interdependent. So these things, they happen, and in a moment we don't stop for a moment and start thinking about who's enabling all this. But because of the nature of how we live now today, every other aspect of life, things are being devolved and decentralized, distributed, taken to the final point of consumption. And I think that is also the same thing that is happening for the engineering practice.
Okay. President, you want to respond to that as well?
Rephrase the question.
The aspect of the technological and devolving engineering and mentorship from classwork to the real life situation. You talked about lifelong learning. Yes.
That's a fantastic question. Why? Because of all the professional bodies in Kenya, I think IEK is the most devolved. Why? IEK is not only in Nairobi. We have 8 branches across the country. We have Coast Branch, we have Northeastern Branch, we have Capital Branch, we have Central Branch, we have North Rift, South Rift, we have Nyanza and Western. So physically we are devolved, and actually we are in the 47 counties. Now, what other thing have we done? We have entered into a memorandum of agreement with all universities, with the Council of Deans and Principals of all universities that are teaching engineering in this country. Why? Because we are very deliberate to be present with engineering students. In fact, we have created a path for them that if you are registered in an engineering program in this country, and that engineering program is recognized, you can actually become a student member of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya. So we are very deliberate to devolve capacity, training, mentorship. And I'm telling you, we have even got into agreement with the Nation Media Group where we have gone through this country, going to high schools, not just universities. We are mentoring
from elementary level.
We are mentoring students from high school and telling them what they need to do to become engineers and stuff like that. And therefore, we are present with all who are aspiring to be engineers, and we are STEM advocates. Also, what I'm saying is that we are very deliberate in terms of making sure that we are going where future engineers are, in every university, because our regions are all over the country. We are present to mentor university students. And I'm telling you, even tomorrow, but one, I'm invited by Mukesa, which is Montpellier University, for their function. And I'm always sending colleagues because I'm not able to be in all the universities. So what we're saying is that the aspect of devolution, the aspect of mentorship is so, we are very passionate about it. But we're also creating opportunities for attachment. As we speak now, we have created a platform where those who want attachments and their students or their graduate engineers can get opportunities from their senior colleagues. Just the other week, we had an interaction with the Russian embassy, and we secured scholarship opportunities for members of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya. So we have invested a lot in building the capacity of our members, lifelong learning, like I said, capacity building, but also creating opportunities for knowledge exchange. We are planning a more, just this year, we had an industrial visit to China, and colleagues who went to that industrial visit, they're actually coming today. Last year, we sent engineers to Germany and Italy, learning opportunities. We have created opportunities for learning, capacity building, mentorship for our members, Institution of Engineers of Kenya. And so I don't think we have a competitor in this space in terms of devolution, effective devolution, and deliberate mentorship.
Gentlemen, you know, the good thing about having the two of you here is that I want to put you on the spot. There is this aspect of scope change and design, these bureaucratic hurdles that at the end of the day you find a project is started, but 2, 3, 5 years down the line, there is a delay. It's not completely finished. How are you handling that? I mean, just answer me. Mr. President, start.
So, in project management, there are some things we call restraints. One of them is iron restraint, and you call it budget, which defines cost, scope, and time.
Yes.
Now, the iron restraints in project management means if you touch the scope, you're interfering with time and interfering with costs.
Okay.
If you play around with costs, you are playing around with other parameters.
But are some of them deliberate?
Well,
What's a delay?
Well, project management is both a science and an art. The problem we have in this country is that we have not let professionals practice their professionalism where they should.
I see.
So that you want to have a professional defining the scope of your project. This means thorough, proper designs. When you have the designs, that defines the scope. Then it is costed. That is a budget. Then there is what you call project map. That tells you, I need to do this project in this amount of time. Now, when you have the iron restraints, you have a baseline for the project. Your business, therefore, becomes in project management to make sure that you deliver the agreed scope, but within the agreed time and budget. The problem comes in here. When we want to make political proclamation and saying, we have set aside 10 billion for this road, the question is, as engineers sat down and designed that road and defined that I need 10 months to do it and I need this amount of money, don't make political proclamations ahead of the professionals giving their professional expertise. And therefore, when the political proclamation is made, a road will start. Was there money? Was there identification of the person to do it? Was the design complete? Then midway, you say, because this road is going to, say, Mwingi or Nyamira, and because the politician, the governor, stays 5 kilometers off the road, then political influence causes you to divert that road. Part, you take 5 kilometers. Now, what you have done, you have increase the scope. There are consequences.
And you've interfered with the market.
When you interfere with the scope, there is an implication on cost. There is implication on timeline. And now, the person to be crucified is the engineer who was overtaken, decisions made without his input, and he has to be crucified. So what we're saying is, project success. Project management is a science and art. If you want to succeed, let the professionals run the show. Don't take leadership in a space you're not an expert. In this country, contractors, amamambogas, whoever is, they are not professionals. Construction business is a profession just like law, medicine, and whatnot. They are construction experts who are engineers, architects, quantity surveyors, etc. Let them run the show. In this country, any church, any organization can establish a hospital, but it is run by doctors, nurses, and other professionals in healthcare. But you want to run construction business by people who are not experts. That is where our problem starts.
Project execution, that comes to project management and execution. Because at the end of the day, if everything goes south, ndio mnatafutwa.
Exactly.
Just quickly, can add on that.
Yeah, exactly, Victor. And that I just wanted to say, I agree fully with what the President is saying. Many people, when we hear projects, and we think of the execution, and so on. But projects do not begin at execution. Projects begin at the initiation stage. It's really conceptual.
It's about 80% preparation?
Exactly.
Then 20%
exactly,
execution.
80-20. So that initiation or that conceptual phase is really where you put in all the resources, all the risks are identified, all these aspects that will impact the project are conceptualized, and they are basically they are appropriated. What we are seeing here in this country and in many jurisdictions is where people move very quickly, and because projects now have become conduits for graft. So what people are doing basically is just to find ways of siphoning money into their pockets. But if we had a bit of discipline, ethics, into the introduction of ethics in governance and ethics in the execution of in the conceptualization and the execution of projects, then we would not be where we are. So I think the challenge on top of what the president has said is that there are so many pronouncements and so on, and then once these pronouncements are made, then we think that these are projects. But this really is not how a project ought to be conceived and run. And the result is, inevitably, the result then is failed.
Gentlemen, I mean, it's just becoming sweeter to Kimalizia. But then, Mr. President, you have a very busy schedule. And of course, Ngala, 24th, the 32nd International Convention, IEK. Talk about that in 1 minute or two, if you can.
Thank you very much. So, 24th, this month to 28th, we are having 32nd IEK International Convention in Pride Paradise, Mombasa. The theme of this convention is engineering the future, the roadmap for Kenya. Now we have an opportunity to have discussions about the future of this country. Infrastructure is very key to the future of this country. And therefore, we invite all players in the infrastructure sector, engineers, policymakers, contractors, manufacturers. This is where it is happening. We have international delegates all the way from Singapore, Russia. All African countries are represented, and you cannot afford to miss. And so I invite all of you to join us in Pride Paradise, which is actually next week, where we are having great conversations about engineering the future of this country and what roadmap it's going to be.
Okay. There's a question here, is what is the membership? What is the damage for registration?
Wow, good question.
So for that, somebody can go to your portal and check more details and all that. I think I'm also seeing it here. You can also log in to the website, get to register. If you don't register, don't get crushed. But it's important that you attend. Okay. The question that somebody is asking is what is the future? Are we hopeful for the engineering, for the body itself? Starting with you, then the president will finish for us.
Thanks. And that's why I think, sitting very nicely, the Future Leaders Summit, which is on the 25th, fittingly the doorway really to the convention. The theme for that will be the role of emerging engineers. So basically saying that we are particularly very hopeful about the future. And we're seeing very great prospects.
I'm told there's a pressing issue. Engineer, we want to cross over to State House. The president, that is a quick one. Exactly, there you have it. The president is handing over ambulance and medical supplies that is from World Health Organization, WHO, to the government of Kenya. And the president is taking charge of that. The event has started, but before then, I have to thank you. Engineer Ngala, thank you. He's the president, he's a member of the Future Leaders Committee, IEK, and the president, of course, Shama Kiteme, who's the president, Institution of Engineers of Kenya. Gentlemen, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Let's sit in.
Working with our international pharma agencies in the global market, including Merck, including J&J, so that our children and our poor people can be treated in this country. Why? To eliminate, to end this neglect from our community. We have been doing this for the last 10 years, and this country, through your leadership, is reaching the end of many of these diseases. Thank you very much. Excellent.
So we'll now kindly proceed to behind the dais for all of us to now have we'll start with the flag of Your Excellency. If you may kindly just, after we've moved the trucks, I think we'll move the trucks first. So, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, you're welcome to flag off. Your Excellency, you're welcome to flag off. And the first ambulances are those that are going to referral hospitals. We already have viewed the one from Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. So at the count of 3, 2, 1. Tumpigie makofi. That is the one going to Kenyatta National Hospital. Your Excellency, these ambulances are going to referral hospitals. The next one is to Kenyatta University Teaching, Research and Referral Hospital. The next one is Madari National Teaching and Referral Hospital. The next one is Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, Eldoret. We have one going to Moi Kibaki Teaching and Referral Hospital. We also have another going to National Spinal Injury Referral Hospital. And the next one is National Emergency Response Center, Ministry of Health. We also have some, Your Excellency, that are going to the county government. We have Elgeyo Marakwet County. That's Elgeyo Marakwet County. Marsabit County. I saw the Marsabit governor around. Siaya County. Samburu County. And Tana River County. We also have the trucks that are loaded with the tablets, as you've seen, Your Excellency, going to Siaya County. The next would be Nairobi County. Followed by Kajiado and Tana River County. Laikipia, Samburu, and Marsabit. Wonderful. So with the trucks and ambulances now flagged off, we'll now just have some brief remarks. So allow me to invite the Cabinet Secretary for Health, Honorable Aden Duale, to
Thank you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President. All protocols observed. WHO's support has had a very significant and lasting impact for Kenya's public health, and we are very happy at the progress because Kenya has recorded steady improvement across key public health indicators with WHO's guidance. At this juncture, I would like to invite the Governor of Marsabit County, Dr. Mahmoud, to give us a few remarks.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the CS for Health, all partners present here today. Your Excellency, this is a very important event. Health matter is something very, very important to any nation. On behalf of the Council of Governors, and I bring the apology of the chairman, who is currently chairing another meeting. Your Excellency, we are indeed very grateful for the support that we have received from our partners through your stewardship, Your Excellency, and the Ministry. The Council of Governors appreciates all the support and the partnership that we've been having. Health matters have been taken seriously by the Council across the country and have marked remarkable improvements in all our indicators. Today's donation by WHO will go a long way in further complementing what the county and the national government has been doing. So on behalf of the council, I sincerely want to thank you, Your Excellency, and all our partners. Thank you very much indeed.
Your Excellency, through the investment in integrated disease surveillance and response, training of healthcare workers, and establishment of emergency coordination mechanism, we have been able to coordinate through the support of WHO. At this juncture, I would like to invite my Cabinet Secretary to take over the program. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, our guest, the head of the African region of WHO, Professor Janabi, the UN rep in Nairobi, colleague governors, the chairs of the health committees of both houses, staff, senior staff of the Ministry of Health. Your Excellency, today, this is your day, and what you have launched is a testimony of our partnership and our collaboration and our very strong membership as a country to WHO. And I want to confirm to you, Your Excellency, we are very active members of WHO. We have fulfilled all our commitments and our collaborations in disease surveillance, in many of the emergencies and epidemics, not only in our country, but within our region. We have collaborated with WHO. Your Excellency, what you are launching today is that commitment of our partnership. And today's the vehicles, the ambulances, and the other items that you have flagged off that are going to our referral hospitals and our county hospitals are mainly geared towards reducing maternal and child mortality rate in our country. And Your Excellency, I want to commit to you, under your leadership and with the UHC program that we are implementing as a country, I want to commit to you and me and my team and our Council of Governors that will do whatever it takes that no mother or child dies. A mother walks to a facility not as a patient, but she walks to a facility to go and give us another living. So it is unconstitutional, it is immoral, but those of us you have entrusted the leadership with, we will not let down the people of Kenya, and we will not let you down. Your Excellency, before I invite you, let me invite my brother, Professor Janabi, our neighbor here from Tanzania, but now the leader of WHO Africa. He has a choice to speak in Swahili or English. He is at home. Welcome, Professor.
Asante sana. I'll try to speak in English. Kenya Swahili, you'll need a dictionary here and translate. Your Excellency, President William Samoei Ruto, Honorable Cabinet Secretary for Health, Mr. Aden Dual, distinguished colleague, ladies and gentlemen, hamjambo. Jamge. So it's a profound pleasure to be here this morning on the final day of my mission to Kenya to mark the moment that is both practical and deeply symbolic. Today we hand over a major consignment of ambulances and medical supplies valued at $2.3 million to the government and people of Kenya. But this is more than a transaction. It's a testament to partnership, purpose, and the power of collective action. Each ambulance, each oxygen cylinder, each emergency kit tells a story. A mother who takes care of herself in time, a child whose life is protected, a health worker who responds well when every minute matters. I'm a heart specialist. We say time is muscles. So you need all the equipment in hand to save life. Today, handover includes 14 fully equipped ambulances, 8 advanced life-supporting units to strengthen the national Emergency Ambulance Service Center, and the 999 system. 6 ambulances dedicated to reproductive and maternal health services in underdeserved counties, where distance and delay too often cost lives. When we were talking inside, President Ruto insisted he wants to see the number of maternal deaths going down. And we support fully. For our media, pregnancy is not a disease, it's a physiological change of the body. So no one insisted he wants to see the number of maternal deaths going down. And we support fully. For our media, pregnancy is not a disease, it's a physiological change of the body. So no one is supposed to die. Alongside this are 205 medical oxygen cylinders, nearly 3,000 emergency and infectious prevention supplies, ensuring that frontline facilities are ready for outbreaks, emergencies, and critical care. Again, here you see how we are going to work together with President Ruto on primary health care and universal health coverage, because outbreaks, emergencies start in the communities and end up in the communities. We are also delivering 6.5 million tablets to support mass treatment of schistosomiasis and soil-transmitted helminths in 15 counties, protecting around 3 million people from preventable diseases. And finally, a comprehensive package of 952 items of reproductive and maternal health equipment, commodities, training modules designed to improve obstetric family planning and post-abortion, especially in remote areas. We have to say, our observation in WHO, there's a lot of teenager pregnancies around our 47 member states in Africa, Kenya among them. So the handover reflects guiding principles of WHO work. Every emergency investment should be built a lasting impact. What once served as an urgent response now becomes part of the resilient system, sustaining care long after crisis passed away. Kenya leadership in hosting the WHO Emergency Hub here in Nairobi embodies that vision, turning readiness into resilience, making this country not only a beneficiary of support, but a source of strength for the region. Today is an important day. It's about partnership. The Minister of Health, county governments, and frontline health workers have shown extraordinary dedication. Their daily efforts turns equipment into impact. Naomba nimalizie by saying the words of Baba. Kwanza poleni sana. Baba, I quoted saying, "A nation that cannot protect its mothers cannot protect its future." Together we are building a Kenya where giving life is never a risk, but rather an experience defined by safety, dignity, and hope. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, let me also recognize my two very able PSS and the DG and the rest of our directors who are here. It's now my duty and honor to invite our President to address us and make his...
Professor from our neighborhood in Tanzania, we are lucky that you didn't speak Kiswahili because we would have needed a translator. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Kenya's commitment to universal health coverage rests on a simple but powerful truth. Every life matters. Today, we reaffirm that commitment by strengthening the partnership that protect our people and protect our region. Kenya and WHO have stood together through outbreaks, pandemics, recoveries, and rebuilding, forging a partnership defined not just by projects, but by shared capabilities in early warning systems, national surge teams, strategic reserves, and digital systems, and rebuilding, forging a partnership defined not just by projects, but by shared capabilities in early warning systems, national surge teams, strategic reserves, and digital systems that turn data into life-saving action. Because of this collaboration, fewer lives are lost, recoveries are faster, and confidence across the continent continues to grow. The advanced life support ambulances will be handed over to all our 7 national referral facilities and the National Emergency Response Center of the Ministry of Health. This support goes to the heart of our universal health coverage agenda, advancing safe pregnancies, healthy mothers, thriving newborns, and responsive systems. The new resources will strengthen emergency referral care, improve oxygen capacity, reduce maternal and newborn deaths in high-burden counties, and sharpen our readiness for cholera, mpox, and other public health threats. Their true value will not be measured not in numbers, but in mothers saved, babies supported, and communities strengthened. Yet maternal and newborn mortalities in Kenya remains unacceptably high. No woman should die while giving birth, and no baby should be lost to preventable causes. The Ministry of Health is under firm and strict instructions to deliver rapid, measurable reductions through real-time reporting of every case, timely clinical audits, and immediate corrective action at facilities and at county levels. I have agreed with the Ministry of Health team that, as I have said, the maternal and child mortality is unacceptably high. We cannot be losing upwards of 300 in 1,000, in 100,000, while the benchmark is 70. I mean, it is completely unacceptable. And going forward, we have agreed with the DHA is going to provide data, and every facility in Kenya, public or private, every facility must provide data on mothers and children who die in their facilities. I know that there are facilities that continue to hide data on mothers who die or children who die in hospitals. We must get the data right, because we must get our act together and reduce the death of mothers and children, especially at birth. I have asked the ministry to conduct an RRI, and the Director General at the ministry has given us an undertaking that by March next year, we will have the correct data on what is our performance as a country, county by county, and then we can therefore be able to respond to this big challenge effectively. I was very embarrassed when I was confronted in New York by a good friend of Kenya who asked me, Mr. President, how is it acceptable in Kenya that upwards of 300 mothers and children die in our facilities? And it is something that has bothered me very much. I know I have discussed this extensively with many of the governors, especially in the counties that have the highest mortalities. And I'm happy that today we are providing facilities for the counties of Tana River, Garissa, Samburu, Marsabit, Siaya, and Elgeyo Marakwet. These are the counties that have some work to do. And we are going to work with the leaders in these counties, the governors, and the ministry will provide supportive mechanisms to make sure that we correct what is going on in our facilities. We will intensify the every woman, every newborn, everywhere agenda by equipping frontline teams, securing essential commodities, and ensuring respectful, high-quality care at all levels. Because this is a continental challenge, I also call on the World Health Organization Regional Office for Africa and all partners to work with us to reverse these statistics and strengthen regional health security. Partnership is our greatest advantage, and together we must scale up what works faster. To reinforce this collaboration, I urge WHO Africa Regional Office to expedite the operationalization of the Regional Emergencies and Logistics Hub in Kenya. The Ministry of Health is treating this as a top priority, working to resolve all regulatory and logistical bottlenecks and reporting progress directly to my office until the hub is fully functional. I take this opportunity to congratulate Professor Mohamed Yaqub Janabi on assuming the leadership of WHO Regional Office for Africa, and we look forward, Professor, to a strengthened and results-oriented partnership that delivers measurable gains for our country and for our region. Kenya has given priority to 6 key pillars in the journey to universal health coverage. First, service delivery. We have, working with counties, now have 107,000 community health promoters in partnership with all our counties. They form the front line of primary healthcare, delivering early detection and timely intervention. To support their vital work, the government provides a stipend, and the impact is clear. CHPs have visited 8.9 million households, screened 9.9 million Kenyans, and made more than 439,000 referrals. County governments also deserve recognition for strengthening primary health facilities, supported by the new Primary Health Fund that pays for outpatient services. Second, a motivated health workforce is essential. We have resolved long-standing issues affecting healthcare workers, including settling the Kenya shillings 3.5 billion in arrears owed to doctors and improving terms for other cadres. Third, we are rolling out an integrated health management information system. Already, 1,378 facilities in 19 counties are online, with thousands more at various stages. As our digital superhighway is completed, Kenya will achieve data mobility, expand telemedicine, and improve efficiency across systems. Fourth, Social Health Authority is now the engine of universal health coverage. More than 27 million Kenyans have registered with daily enrollment exceeding 30,000. SHA brings together the Primary Health Care Fund, Emergency Chronic and Critical Illness Fund, and the Contributory Social Health Insurance Fund, including what we have brought together under the health ecosystem, including one piece of legislation that we are still waiting for passage in Parliament. In the current financial year, we have allocated 13 billion shillings to the Primary Health Fund and 8 billion shillings to the Emergency Chronic and Critical Illness Funds, supplemented by county revenues and other sources. Number 5, we are strengthening access to safe and affordable medical products. The Kenya Medical Supply Authority has been repositioned as the National Procurement, Warehousing, and Distribution Agency. We have allocated 1.5 billion shillings to capitalize KEMSA and established a Kenya shillings 10 billion line of credit, targeting a 90% order fill rate and reliable availability of essential medicines and commodities nationwide by the end of this year. I have said this before, the biggest challenge we've always had in our facilities, the biggest complaint from citizens is Hakuna Dawa. And we need to treat this Hakuna Dawa thing. And we have agreed, and I want to commend county governments that we have agreed that now commodities, when they leave the warehouses from KEMSA, they do not go to county stores. They go straight to facilities, either health centers or dispensaries or level 4 facilities, so that we cut down on time between when commodities are ordered and when they are delivered. We have also agreed that every facility will have an F5 or Facility Improvement Fund that will also respond to situations and requirements in every facility in good time. We have also agreed that to be able to make sure that there is regular replenishment and there are no issues of debts being accrued, there is a mechanism for how payments for medicines will be netted off with the SHA payments. Again, this will support our delivery of health. Number 6, because of governance and leadership which anchors these reforms, we remain fully committed to delivering universal health coverage supported by a strong team at the Ministry of Health and dedicated governors across 47 counties. To solidify reforms, we enacted 4 transformative pieces of legislation, and I am very proud that this is giving us a very sound footing on how to deliver universal health. I am confident that they will continue in that spirit as the Quality of Care and Patient Safety Bill is now under consideration in Parliament. Universal health coverage is now a reality for most Kenyans than ever. Primary health services in all SHA-accredited facilities, including public, private, and faith-based, are funded by the Government of Kenya. With strong partnerships, especially with WHO, Kenya is firmly on the path to achieving universal health coverage. Professor Janabi, once again, and your team at WHO, I thank you for your partnership and steadfast commitment to health of not just Kenya, but also our region. Thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to working with all of you. Shortly, we will be having a conversation on the progress that has been made and feedback on what we can do better. And I am looking forward to that conversation with health providers, all the stakeholders, citizens, and partners like WHO and others. And to thank all the people of Kenya who have come through, every citizen who has taken time to register and to participate so that we can eventually deliver on this most critical element of health to all our people. Because Section 43 of the Constitution of Kenya mandates government, both at the national and the county, to deliver the highest quality of health to all citizens. It is not a privilege for those who can afford or who have jobs or who have means. It is a right for every citizen of the Republic of Kenya, irrespective of their social, economic, cultural, or any other consideration. Thank you very much. Asante sana. Professor, again, thank you very much.
what is the government doing to enhance access by farmers to certified pyrethrum plantlets and extension services? And D, could the Cabinet Secretary also provide details on the initiatives by the government to secure guaranteed foreign markets for local pyrethrum farmers and to enhance value addition and agro-processing generally? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable CS, you may now proceed to respond.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And with your permission, Mr. Speaker, I also wish to record my appreciation for the invitation to come to the House, where I also served for 5 years. Mr. Speaker, in response to the Honourable Senator's question, Homa Bay County is not a pyrethrum growing zone, since the climatic conditions are not favorable for such. Homa Bay County is located within an altitude of 1,163 meters to 1,219 meters above sea level, with a rainfall of about 700 to 800 millimeters and an annual temperature of 17 to 34 degrees Celsius. These climatic conditions are not suitable for pyrethrum growing. This was also confirmed, by the way, by the Deputy Governor of Homa Bay County through the letter dated on the 28th of May 2025, which is annexed. In Kenya, for general information, Mr. Speaker, pyrethrum is grown in 19 counties within the highland regions of Kenya, comprising of the North Rift region, and those counties in the North Rift are Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, West Pokot, Bungoma in Mount Elgon, Trans Nzoia, Uasin Gishu, and Nandi. In the South Rift region, we have got Nakuru, Kericho, Bomet, and Narok. In the Central Eastern region, there is also Laikipia, Nyandarua, Meru, Nyeri, Kiambu, and Embu. And in the Lake region block, we have got Kisii and Nyamira. The reason why this is the case, Mr. Speaker, is because the suitable conditions within the highlands for growing of pyrethrum are essentially, number one, an altitude of about 1,700 meters to 3,000 meters above sea level. The best flowering is usually achieved in altitudes of above 2,130 meters above sea level. It also requires well-drained volcanic soils with a minimum pH of about 5.6 and an annual rainfall of a minimum of about 800 millimeters, well spread within the season. The temperatures below 18 degrees Celsius persist for at least 6 weeks to initiate flowering. High temperatures, water deficit conditions, and photoperiod effect flowering, flower development, and pyrethrin yields. In the second question, Mr. Speaker, in response to the second question regarding the revitalization of pyrethrum sector in the Lake region and economic bloc and in the country generally, let me inform the Honorable House that the government is pursuing several policy reforms and initiatives to revitalize the pyrethrum sector, both in the Lake region bloc as well as the other counties, particularly Kisii, Nyamira counties, where pyrethrum does well, and across the country generally. The reforms are geared towards boosting production, improving farmers' livelihoods, and addressing global market challenges. Specifically, on policy reforms,